Chapter 2355. What if we lose the bet? Ouyang Shuang looked at Du Xiaofu and asked. Du Xiaofu smiled embarrassedly and said, "If we lose the bet, everyone can run as fast as they can." Hearing this, Dai Xingyu, Ouyang Shuang, Qing Wan and Xiao Qing rolled their eyes at Du Xiaofu speechlessly. After a while, Du Xiaofu had Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Qing Wan, and Xiao Qing stand in the distance. Hand seals were formed in his hands, and rays of light surged out, turning into talisman runes that flew out and sank into the ground before disappearing into the void. Sister Xingyu, what is Brother Xiaofu doing? It doesn't look like he is setting up a formation. Qing Wan Xiao Qing looked at Du Xiaofu and was surprised. It didn't look like he was setting up a formation, nor did it look like he was setting up a seal. It was very strange. I don't know either. Dai Xingyu was also very surprised at this moment. As a talisman master, she also didn't know what Du Xiaofu was doing at this moment, but she could see that it was very mysterious. After a while, Du Xiaofu retracted his hand seals and the rays of light disappeared. He stepped into the void and a slight smile appeared on his face. Black Ape, send out the news. Next, it will depend on luck. Du Xiaofu said to Black Ape beside him, also a little nervous. Yes, Master. Black Ape nodded. Rays of light quietly overflowed from his hand and dissipated into the void. Looking into the distance, Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered with some anticipation. If the unfortunate one was Lei Yang, there was nothing to be afraid of. At least he could test himself. What is Brother Xiaofu doing? Qing Wan looked at Du Xiaofu and Black Ape from afar and was very puzzled. She didn't know what he was trying to do mysteriously. Ouyang Shuang faintly smiled as she looked at the tall and straight figure in the distance. Her red lips slightly parted as she opened her mouth to speak. He let the demonic ape spread the news and purposely exposed himself. When the time comes, Lei Yang and the others will definitely split up to help. If the ones who come to help the demonic ape are Ground Wolf and Ice Toad, then they can be dealt with directly. So that's how it is. Brother Xiaofu is really treacherous. Qing Wan and Xiao Qing clicked their tongues. That fellow looked so righteous, yet they didn't expect him to be so treacherous. He was basically inviting them into a trap. What if it's the Thunder Goat? Qing Wan Xiao Qing raised her brows. She had just heard that the Thunder Goat was a saint beast late stage. Then let's run while it's still early. Dai Xingyu smiled faintly. Du Xiaofu stood quietly in the void, waiting. Master, if it's the Ground Wolf, you have to be careful. The Ground Wolf isn't simple. It's at the peak of Saint Beast middle stage, not far from the Saint Beast late stage. The demonic ape said to Du Xiaofu with respect and gentleness in his eyes. The blood soul seal placed on him wouldn't affect his cultivation in the future, but it was enough to ensure that he would be sincere and would never betray him. It's fine as long as it's not the Thunder Goat. If it's the Thunder Goat, you don't have to care about me. You can leave with Xingyu and the others first. Du Xiaofu said to the demonic ape. He had placed the blood soul seal in the demonic ape's beast soul and laid down a beast controlling technique. He was treating the demonic ape as one of his own. If they encountered the Thunder Goat, the demonic ape wouldn't be of any help with his strength. Master. Just when the demonic ape was about to continue speaking, Du Xiaofu suddenly raised his eyes and looked into the distance. The corner of his mouth curled into a smile as he said, "Seems like our luck is not bad. They're here. Get ready, boom." Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, the demonic ape's eyes suddenly moved. In an instant his aura burst out. Ayo! In an instant, the demonic ape reverted to his original form. A ferocious giant ape appeared. He was several hundred feet tall and was like a huge mountain. He was covered in thick gray scales and his eyes were red like two blood moons covered in thick fog. His aura was fierce and gloomy. Demonic ape, is this the human? As the demonic ape reverted to his original form, a light broke through the void in the distance. It was as if the void had been torn apart. A figure descended and appeared beside the demonic ape. The person who came was a middle-aged man. He was not very tall, and his white clothes were covered in layers of light. His eyes were slightly protruding, and his appearance was extremely eye-catching. However, there was an icy aura on his body. As he descended, the surrounding temperature suddenly plummeted, and frost appeared in the void. Ice Toad. Du Xiaofu looked at the middle-aged man in white. He didn't expect that after all his preparations, it would be Ice Toad who came. His cultivation level was similar to the demonic apes. Although he wasn't weak, he didn't pose much of a threat to Du Xiaofu. Be careful. This human is very strong. Why are you the only one here? Even when Lai Diao and I joined forces, we were still at a disadvantage. The demonic ape asked Ice Toad with a grave expression. I'm with Lord Lei Yang. Lord Lei Yang went to support Lai Diao. I don't know where Di Lang is. He hasn't arrived yet. Ice Toad's expression also became serious. He looked at Du Xiaofu with an extremely gloomy gaze. He didn't dare to be careless. He had heard that this human had caused the demonic ape and Lai Diao to suffer a great loss. Moreover, his cultivation level was only a little lower than Lai Diao's. Let's join forces and stall for time until Lord Lei Yang arrives, the demonic ape said to Ice Toad. Okay. Ice Toad nodded. With a stomp of his foot, his figure pounced forward in an instant. Monstrous profound energy suddenly swept out from within his body. This profound energy was incomparably cold. Instantly, the entire sky darkened and was covered in frost. A bone-chilling aura covered the entire sky. Cold winds blew and whistled endlessly in the sky. Coo! The sound was like the ringing of a bell, shaking the heavens and the earth. As Ice Toad's figure pounced forward, he transformed into his huge body. A snow-white ice toad covered in layers of white scales, as if covered in an ice armor. It had a metallic texture and was suffused with light. Although it was large, it was much smaller than the demonic ape's body. It was only a few dozen feet in size. However, the aura from its body was definitely not inferior to the demonic ape's. The cold aura was even more bizarre, freezing the void wherever it passed. Seeing the ice toad's aura, Du Xiaofu's eyes inwardly raised. It was not inferior to the demonic ape. Among those with the same cultivation level, it could be considered as one of the top. Swish, however, the unforeseen event happened too quickly. Everything happened as fast as lightning. Just as the ice toad transformed into its original body, the demonic ape behind it showed no mercy. Its ferocious eyes blazed as it immediately attacked. Its huge hand moved and its blade-like fingertips tore through the void. Like an iron hook, it slightly curved as it grabbed towards the ice toad's back. This claw seemed to want to completely envelop the ice toad's body. Its aura caused the void to explode. Talisman runes blazed and interweaved. It was incomparably violent. Demonic ape, what are you doing? The sudden turn of events caused the ice toad's expression to drastically change as it sensed the demonic ape's attack from behind. With a loud roar, it instantly turned around and waved its claw downwards. An icy light pillar shot out, blocking the demonic ape's attack. Clang! Clang! The two attacks instantly collided. A muffled clang resounded as the sound of wind and thunder rang out. It was as if metal and stone had struck each other. It was deafening. Pumph! Oomph! A muffled groan came from the ice toad's throat. Its body was directly pushed back. It had suffered a loss. Its cultivation and strength were about the same as the demonic ape's, but the demonic ape had long been prepared to attack. However, the ice toad had only fought back in a panic. There was a huge gap between them. Then the ice toad was pushed back. While its eyes were still in shock, Du Xiaofu's figure had already appeared like a ghost. With a sweep of his purple robe and a wave of his palm, a golden light exploded in the sky. A bright golden talisman rune surged out like lightning and thunder, turning into a brilliant golden wave. Its aura was terrifying and monstrous. The golden light gushed out like a sun. At this moment, the ice toad's eyes were filled with shock as it felt the aura of a beast sovereign. Frost erupted from its body and turned into a barrier. However, under the impact of the dazzling golden light, it was easily destroyed. The ice toad spat out a mouthful of blood. The ice scale armor on its body was unable to withstand the domineering impact and cracked and bled. Its body felt as if it was being crushed by 100,000 mountains, and it fell from the sky involuntarily. Swish! Swish! However, this was not the end. Before its body, which was hundreds of feet long, had landed on the ground, a purple-robed figure wrapped in golden light had already appeared in front of it. An overbearing and ferocious aura swept over. A pair of sharp and intimidating eyes rippled with golden light as they grew larger and larger as its pupils shrunk in shock. Subsequently, a foot violently stomped on its body. The foot landed with a loud bang, causing the surrounding space to distort. Bang bang! Bang! Everything was done in one breath. The ice toad's body fell to the ground, causing the earth to shake and the mountains to shake. The ground cracked and debris flew into the sky. The scales on its body shattered and the talisman runes were shattered. Large mouthfuls of dark red blood directly spurted out from its mouth. Falling head-on, the ice toad's beast soul emitted an aura of death. This kind of strength was simply not on the same level as the ice toad. There was no way it could resist. That stomp contained an astonishing domineering pressure. It was a supreme beast. I've been betrayed. The ice toad's ferocious eyes were filled with fear. It was suppressed like a hot knife through butter. Blood spurted out, and its expression was filled with disbelief and shock. At this moment, it realized that it had been betrayed by the demonic ape. The other party was waiting for it to take the bait. Coo! The nightmare ape had only attacked once before it stood in the distance. When it saw the ice toad being easily suppressed, it involuntarily swallowed a mouthful of saliva. In this short period of time, compared to the last time it fought against its master's strength had increased by several times. This rate of improvement was too frightening. Qing Luan, Little Qing, Dai Xingyu, and Ouyang Shuang were watching from afar. At this moment, looking at the scene in front of them, they could not help but click their tongues. Brother Xiaofu is so strong. He must have made a breakthrough. Qing Luan and Little Qing were stunned. The ice toad was at the peak of the initial Saint Beast realm. A dignified Saint Beast realm expert could not withstand a single blow at this moment. Rumble! At this moment, Du Xiaofu did not stop at all. His hand rapidly formed a seal, accompanied by a supreme pressure spreading out. His palm was covered with a mysterious seal. Boom! In the seal, the phantom of a golden-winged rock appeared. Its entire body was golden and dazzling, with silver-yellow electric arcs. A monstrous pressure spread out from it, accompanied by lightning and thunder, and the silver-yellow electric arcs suddenly erupted. Roar! Roar! All of a sudden, the roars of dragons and tigers, as well as the roars of lions and phoenixes, rang out from Du Xiaofu's hand seals. A terrifying aura erupted as a towering pressure descended, containing a pressure that no beast could resist. This kind of pressure came from the souls of all beasts, from within their bloodlines. It was as if a supreme beast had descended, enough to make all beasts submit, and it was difficult for them to resist. When this terrifying pressure descended, the ice toad beast soul trembled, and its entire body trembled. It was completely suppressed. Chi-la! In an instant, Du Xiaofu's hand seal, accompanied by the roar of a dragon, phoenix, lion, and tiger, fell directly into the glabella of the ice toad, who was almost stunned and unable to resist. The strange golden seal, accompanied by the supreme beast pressure, turned into a ball of golden lightning and disappeared into the glabella of the ice toad. Chi-la, hand seals were still forming in Du Xiaofu's hand, and there was a mysterious fluctuation of runes on his body. As the hand seals formed, an extremely strange light with a terrifying supreme pressure fell between the ice toad's glabella one after another. Unknowingly, the ice toad's fierce eyes quietly closed. This was the blood soul seal, and this ice toad was not inferior to the demonic ape. He had more and more enemies in this fearsome land, and Du Xiaofu intended to subdue the ice toad. Even if he could not bring it out of this fearsome land, at least for now, he could add a genuine sacred beast realm cultivator to his side. As the blood soul seal was arranged, the beast soul in the ice toad's mind was still making its final struggle, constantly roaring. The beast soul was like a miniature version of its original body, resisting with all its strength, not wanting to be completely suppressed. Evil beast, it's too late. Du Xiaofu's voice resounded in the ice toad's mind. Dazzling golden light burst out, and a hand seal like the shadow of a golden-winged rock appeared. Mighty electric arcs raged, and monstrous supreme pressure swept out, directly suppressing the ice toad's beast soul. No matter how fiercely the beast soul struggled and roared, it could not resist at all. A beast soul of the sacred beast realm was no small matter. The ice toad's cultivation was at the peak of the initial stage of the sacred beast realm, and its beast soul was even more powerful. If it was another person with the same cultivation level as Du Xiaofu, even if he also mastered the blood soul seal, it would be absolutely impossible to suppress the ice toad so easily. However, this ice toad encountered Du Xiaofu. When Du Xiaofu was still at the initial stage of the sacred beast realm, the abnormal power of his spirit, coupled with the blood soul seal, which specialized in suppressing beast souls, even 10 demonic apes' beast souls could not resist. At this moment, Du Xiaofu had made another breakthrough, and his spirit was even stronger, and his strength had reached a new level. This ice toad could not resist at all. Beast Control Technique. As Du Xiaofu's hand seals continued to condense, a dazzling golden light finally sank into the ice toad's glabella. Ao! In the ice toad's mind, there were the roars of dragons and tigers, and the roars of phoenixes and lions. Under the monstrous pressure, a dazzling shadow of the golden-winged rock turned into a blazing golden light, and instantly entered the ice toad's beast soul. This was a natural suppression, and there was no way to resist. After struggling for a while, the ice toad's beast soul gradually began to be tamed, and a moment later, it completely stopped struggling. Phew! In the outside world, Du Xiaofu withdrew his hand seals, but at this moment his expression suddenly froze, and his eyes were fixed on a certain void. The ice toad's closed eyes opened, and its huge body rose, and turned into its original white-robed middle-aged man. Its body was dripping with blood, and there were pools of blood. The original fierce light in its eyes had quietly disappeared, and was replaced by awe. Facing Du Xiaofu, it bowed its head and said, "Master! Master!" At this moment, Du Xiaofu's expression was solemn, and he immediately transmitted his voice to the ice toad, the nightmare ape, and Ouyang Shuang in the distance. "Quickly retreat, quickly! Retreat! Retreat!" As Du Xiaofu's voice fell, Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Qing Wan, Xiao Qing, and the others did not hesitate and turned to leave. It must be that Lei Yang had come, and they would only be a burden if they stayed, and would not be of any help. The nightmare ape took the ice toad and also retreated in an instant. They had already agreed, and it also felt the aura of Lei Yang, so it would not be of any help if it stayed. Chi la la. The void fluctuated with electric arcs, and thunderclouds occupied the void. A void crack directly appeared in the sky, and a thin and withered figure appeared in the sky. With the appearance of this figure, there were electric arcs fluctuating in the sky, and the whole space quietly solidified, and a destructive aura descended. Du Xiaofu raised his head and looked at the newcomer. Just the aura alone could cause a change in heaven and earth, and this kind of strength was unfathomable. This was not the first expert he had seen, but it was definitely the first expert he had faced with such strength. A thin and withered old man appeared in Du Xiaofu's sight. He was thin and small, like a teenager, and his face seemed to be only skin and bones. There was no flesh on his face, and there were a few strands of white goatee on his chin that moved with the wind. A pair of deep eyes, flashing with lightning, made one's primordial spirit burn for no reason, as if it was about to be destroyed. When the old man appeared, the surrounding void solidified. He looked around and saw the nightmare ape, the ice toad, Ouyang Shuang, and the others who were quickly leaving. There was a hint of doubt in his eyes, but he did not chase after them. Feeling the surrounding aura and the chaotic scene, it was not difficult to know that there had been a fight just now. "You are the human who obtained the other half of the mystic bone?" Lei Yang looked at Du Xiaofu, and his voice was like thunder, which was extremely inconsistent with his thin and withered body. "You are Lei Yang, right?" Du Xiaofu looked at the old man. Needless to say, from the aura on his body, this person was the Lei Yang that the nightmare ape had mentioned. As a rogue cultivator, he was so strong, which was really extraordinary. No wonder he had a place in this fearsome place, and made the human race and the beast alliance wary of him. However, seeing Lei Yang, Du Xiaofu could not help but think of his brother, Zhen Qingcheng. Lei Yang's appearance gave people a wretched feeling, and he did not look like a good person. However, the degree of wretchedness was far inferior to his brother, Zhen Qingcheng. After that, Du Xiaofu's lips curled into a bitter smile. What was supposed to come had finally come. Originally, he was a little regretful that only the ice toad had come. Who knew that Lei Yang would come right after? It seems like the other half of the mystic bone is indeed with you. Hand it over and become my battle servant. I can spare your life and give you endless benefits. It will not be difficult for you to improve further in the future. Chapter 2356. Lei Yang looked at Du Xiaofu. Such a young man was able to make Lai Diao and Zhong Yuan suffer a great loss even after joining forces. Lei Yang cherished his talent and wanted to take him as his battle servant. At that time, no battle servant from the Beast Alliance could compare to him. When Du Xiaofu heard this, he was stunned. He didn't expect Lei Yang to be interested in him and want to take him as a battle servant. Why don't we make a change? You can follow me as my follower and I can let you have a look at the other half of the bone. Who knows, you might be able to comprehend it and have a boundless future. Looking at Lei Yang, Du Xiaofu said with a smile. Kid, are you joking? Lei Yang's voice was like thunder. His voice was obviously much sharper, shaking the void like thunder. I'm not joking. You can also be my mount. You can choose for yourself. Du Xiaofu said with a smile, but the Xian Qi in his body was surging in his meridians. Du Xiaofu's expression was solemn as he faced a late-stage holy beast realm expert. His eyes were filled with anticipation. He was not the same as before, so what harm was there in fighting? He would just take it as a test. What was there to be afraid of? Ha! Lei Yang was stunned for a moment before a smile appeared on his shriveled and bloodless wretched face. He laughed out loud as if he had seen the funniest thing in the world. Are humans nowadays so arrogant? Tell me, which clan are you from? The Yu clan, the Sun clan, the First clan, or the Jiang clan? Lei Yang couldn't stop laughing. Such a young man, perhaps he was from one of the big clans of the human race and was used to being arrogant. One must know that even the old ancestor-level figures of the big clans of the human race had to be courteous to Lei Yang and wouldn't dare to provoke him. But now, this young man didn't put him in his eyes. Neither. Du Xiaofu shook his head. At this moment he was speechless. Is it really that funny? This Lei Yang really doesn't put me in his heart. Isn't that so? When Lei Yang heard this, he was a little surprised. He was not from one of the big families, but when he thought about it carefully, there seemed to be no one among the younger generation of the human race who had set foot into the Saint Realm. Even if Zhong Yuan and Lai Diao joined forces, they would still suffer a great loss. Could it be that you are... Suddenly, Lei Yang seemed to have recalled something. This time, a frightening young cultivator had appeared among the humans. Even Yu Bol of the Yu clan was no match for him. This news had long spread, and Lei Yang had also heard about it. That's not right either. That sovereign seems to have been killed. Lei Yang shook his head again. He had also heard of the outcome. That freakish supreme being had left his name in the sacred hall, and was ranked first. He was a heaven-defying monster, but in the end he was killed by someone from the Yu clan. Who are you? Lei Yang stared at Du Xiaofu, thinking of the situation where the nightmare ape and the ice toad left in a hurry. Everything seemed very strange, and he couldn't help but be surprised. Is it so difficult to choose between being my mount and follower? Why are you so noisy? Du Xiaofu looked at Lei Yang and said, Human, do you know that no one has dared to speak to me like this for many years? Lei Yang's face finally became gloomy. His aura fluctuated, slowly solidifying and collapsing, and pressed towards Du Xiaofu. I'll be waiting. Du Xiaofu opened his mouth, and the aura on his body began to slowly fluctuate. Profound qi surged in his body, making the sound of wind and thunder. His eyes were filled with golden light, and for no reason his aura became fierce. Two invisible auras filled the air, causing the void to suddenly tighten. The surrounding heaven and earth were completely frozen, and swords were drawn. Although I don't know who you are, I hope you won't let me down. If I find out that you are not qualified to be my battle servant, I will kill you without hesitation." A smile appeared on Lei Yang's face, but this smile was filled with coldness. His voice was also a little sharper, and the invisible aura revealed a kind of cold and destructive attitude. As a later-stage sacred beast expert, he had a place in the fierce lands. Even the experts in the various large families and beast alliance had to be courteous to him. Lei Yang indeed had this qualification. I also hope that you can live up to your name. Ordinary demonic beasts can't become my mount and battle servant." Hearing Lei Yang's words, Du Xiaofu's eyes moved. Golden light flickered in his eyes, and his fighting spirit grew stronger. This was the first time he was facing a later-stage sacred beast expert, and he wanted to go all out to test himself. Boom! Boom! As his voice fell, Du Xiaofu's figure slowly rose into the air. The profound qi in the God's Gate in his body began to circulate like a surging river. A tyrannical and fierce aura quietly surged out, and the air waves rose up. His purple robe fluttered in the wind as he rushed into the void, shaking the clouds. As if he had felt the aura on Du Xiaofu's body, Lei Yang's lightning eyes fluctuated a little, but it quickly disappeared. His bloodless and wretched face finally began to change color, and a gloomy expression slowly surged up. Lightning flashed in his lightning eyes, giving people a heart-palpitating destructive aura. "Brat, you've already made me unhappy." At the same time, a majestic energy storm exploded from Lei Yang's body in an incomparably destructive manner. Rumble! In an instant, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the void. The wind rose and the clouds surged. Electric arcs blazed, and the rumbling of thunder whistled and surged. "What does it have to do with me if you're unhappy?" Feeling the aura caused by Lei Yang, Du Xiaofu was not afraid. Instead, a kind of excitement rose in his heart for no reason. He licked the corner of his lips, and his voice contained a kind of sharpness. He did not retreat in the slightest, and his fighting spirit surged. Lei Yang was an expert and did not know the result of the battle. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu was clear that he could let go of his hand and fight without any worries. He had just broken through, and needed this kind of opportunity to verify it. "If I'm unhappy, you'll suffer." At the same time as the thunderous shout came out, Lei Yang moved. Finally, he could not endure it any longer. The aura of thunder and lightning crazily surged, transforming into a vortex. It was like a tornado of thunder and lightning that swept out. A bolt of lightning brought with it a dazzling light as it directly shot towards Du Xiaofu. This lightning bolt was terrifying. Wherever it passed, space would silently shatter. Electric arcs wreaked havoc, and its aura was destructive. It even carried a terrifying tail. Qi-La! This kind of attack swept out in an instant, and arrived in front of Du Xiaofu like a bolt of lightning. Wherever it passed, space was destroyed into nothingness. The power of the lightning was even more terrifying, as if it wanted to destroy the primordial spirit. Du Xiaofu lifted his eyes in the face of this frightening attack. The space in front of him became faintly distorted the instant the lightning pillar penetrated through the empty space and arrived in front of him. His body dodged in front of the pillar at an extremely strange speed and arc. It was as though he had teleported through space. At this moment, this teleportation was even more strange. In front of the sacred hall, Du Xiaofu had some comprehension of the space-splitting three swords. He had made progress in materializing it, and had comprehended the location of space. At this moment, he had subconsciously merged that comprehension into the speed of the golden-winged Great Peng clan and the wave-like carefree steps, causing its power to soar. Lei Yang's figure pounced, but at this moment, when he saw Du Xiaofu disappear in an instant, his expression changed. His attack had actually missed, and this was beyond his expectations. "Human brat, do you think you can escape?" Just as Du Xiaofu dodged the attack, Lei Yang's voice came out from the lightning bolt vortex. The lightning bolt seemed to have gained intelligence, and in an instant, it turned into countless electric arcs and spread out. The electric arcs fluctuated like lightning spears across the sky, piercing through space and following closely behind Du Xiaofu like a shadow. Any one of the lightning spears was extremely terrifying, making it difficult for Du Xiaofu to escape. Du Xiaofu's eyes sank, and in an instant, golden light burst out from his body. An overbearing aura swept across the sky, and the aura of the middle stage of the Saint Realm swept out without reservation, climbing to the peak. The golden light was like a blazing sun, and a supreme aura of the Beast Clan descended, causing Lei Yang's expression to change drastically. It was difficult for him to distinguish whether it was a human or a supreme being of the Beast Clan. "There's no need to escape," Du Xiaofu shouted, but just as the countless lightning spears pierced through space and arrived in front of him, he waved his long sleeves, and an earth-shattering golden light swept out, and an overbearing imposing aura suddenly swept out from his body like a storm. This was the Fu Yao heaven-shaking wings, which swept across the area in front of him, and destroyed the countless lightning spears in the void in the most overbearing manner, turning them into broken lightning. Chila! But in an instant, a burst of broken lightning swept over heavily, and struck Du Xiaofu's body. This was the aftermath of Lei Yang's attack, and just the aftermath alone was enough to seriously injure an ordinary middle stage of the Saint Realm. The impact of the lightning entered Du Xiaofu's body, causing Du Xiaofu's body to emit a purple gold light, and then it disappeared without a sound, and there was no more reaction. If this was any other attack, perhaps Du Xiaofu would be a little embarrassed and suffer some hidden losses, but it was the power of lightning that allowed Du Xiaofu to have no scruples. This power of lightning entered his body, and not to mention his immortal Shen body, it was directly absorbed by the thunder martial vein in his body. Although he was unscathed and did not seem to be at a disadvantage, Du Xiaofu was shocked at this moment. Lei Yang's attack just now was not at his full strength, but he did not hold back and almost suffered a loss. This Lei Yang was indeed powerful. Lei Yang's attack stagnated, and the deep lightning in his eyes could no longer remain calm. Although he did not use his full strength, if he did not hold back, the human youth was unscathed, and this made him reconsider. Golden-winged Great Peng. Feeling the aura of the human at this moment, the aura of the supreme beast, the golden-winged Great Peng, and the cultivation of the intermediate sage realm, Lei Yang finally began to pay attention. According to the words of Zhong Yuan and Lai Diao, the human was only at the early sage realm, but now it seemed that the human had made another breakthrough in this short period of time. Could it be that he has comprehended that half of the mysterious bone? Lei Yang was secretly startled. Fei Yu's strength had advanced by leaps and bounds after obtaining that mysterious bone. And the human in front of him had also advanced from the initial stage of the sage realm to the intermediate stage of the sage realm after obtaining that mysterious bone. How frightening was this? It had taken him several thousand years to advance from the initial stage of the sage realm to the intermediate stage of the sage realm. However, this human had already made a breakthrough to the next level in such a short time. Even if he had come out from his mother's womb, it would have been less than 30 years. Treasure, that half of the mysterious bone is definitely a treasure, a shocking treasure. Lei Yang thought of the half of the mysterious bone. It must be that half of the mysterious bone that allowed the human to make a breakthrough so quickly. Human, you've comprehended that half of the mysterious bone? Lei Yang looked at Du Xiaofu with expectation in his eyes. If he had the opportunity to advance to the next level, then the entire Beast Alliance and the human race would be able to do whatever they wanted. Who would he be afraid of? Guess. Du Xiaofu also recovered from his shock and smiled. After thinking for a while, he knew why Lei Yang asked such a question. There's no need to guess. You're not fated to possess the mysterious bone, and it will change owners today. Lei Yang did not want to waste his breath anymore. An indifferent sound of thunder rang out, and a violent force of 5 thunderbolts swept out, whistling through the void, and swept towards Du Xiaofu. A terrifying destructive force spread out, and a sharp claw of thunder stretched out from the void, directly grabbing towards Du Xiaofu's head. Under the claw, 5 pitch-black spatial cracks scattered from the void, fluctuating with lightning, destroying everything. Boom! The void rumbled, and at the same time, Du Xiaofu's hand seals were quickly formed. A vigorous and surging aura suddenly soared into the sky like a peerless beast. A fist was rapidly formed, and it directly swept out towards the claw of thunder. This was Du Xiaofu's ultimate strength in his physical body. When he went all out, his aura was incomparably overbearing. This was the way of the overbearing fist. Roar! Roar! This fist was faintly accompanied by the roar of a dragon and the cry of a divine elephant, causing the void to rumble. Lightning flashed in the sky, and in front of the fist, the void exploded, as if it was about to collapse. The ground below also cracked, and the rocks on the mountain collapsed. In the blink of an eye, the fist directly collided with the claw of thunder. The void where the claw and fist collided cracked, and pitch-black spatial cracks spread out. Rumble! The terrifying rune ripples were like a tsunami, suddenly sweeping across the void, and the space shook violently. The invisible overbearing aura shook the space, and the space rippled endlessly. It was as if there was endless thunder between the heavens and the earth. Dang dang, Du Xiaofu's figure staggered back. After a few steps, he stabilized his body, and the void under his feet quietly collapsed. Lei Yang's thin and withered figure appeared. At this moment, he also staggered, and his eyes were completely shocked at this moment. There was a slight numbness in the palm of his claw, and there was even a slight pain. Lei Yang was completely shocked. He didn't have much strength left, but he was still resisted. After several consecutive attacks, he didn't even gain much advantage. After the shock, Lei Yang's deep eyes gradually became gloomy. Rumble! When his eyes gradually became gloomy, at this moment, Lei Yang no longer held back his aura. Lightning swept across the sky, and a terrifying aura swept out without holding back, climbing to the peak. Late-stage Holy Beast Realm. Du Xiaofu stabilized his body, raised his head slightly, and narrowed his eyes. At this moment, Lei Yang, who didn't hold back at all, had his aura climb to the peak, surpassing the mid-stage Holy Beast Realm. It was the late-stage Holy Beast Realm. Rumble! Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, lightning arcs raged, and thunder clouds covered the sky. This side of the world was also rumbling. At this moment, Lei Yang no longer held back, and a terrifying aura whizzed out with him as the center, turning into a sea of lightning. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled incessantly, causing people's hearts to tremble and their primordial spirits to burn. Such a movement also alarmed everyone. The experts in the distance who were originally looking towards the burial deadland were also attracted by this amazing movement at this moment. They came closer and some of their auras peeked over. Late-stage Holy Beast Realm, it's really extraordinary. Looking ahead, Du Xiaofu secretly exclaimed. At this moment, Lei Yang could form a sea of lightning with his own cultivation, and this kind of cultivation and understanding of lightning ultimacy was no small matter. There was a huge gap between the late-stage Holy Beast Realm and the middle-stage Holy Beast Realm. Lightning roared, and lightning arcs raged in the void, as if it was destroying. A terrifying energy storm swept out, causing the entire area to tremble. Du Xiaofu stood in the void, and that terrifying aura swept out, but he was like a rock, unmoved, and his robe fluttered even more. To be able to make me go all out, human, you're qualified to be my battle servant. The Thunder Goat attacked again. This kind of movement attracted many creatures to come closer. It didn't want the news to be leaked and wanted to end the battle quickly. Blazing lightning runes swept out from its body in an endless stream. It was like a volcano erupting with thunderbolts. It transformed into the shadow of a lightning dragon that was blazing like the sun. It roared as it pounced towards Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu soared into the sky like a falcon pouncing on its prey. His 5 fingers were slightly bent, and mysterious runes flashed on his fingertips, as if they wanted to tear the space apart. Energy ripples visible to the naked eye spread out from the claws. This was the rock's chaos-crushing claw. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's aura was like that of a peerless ferocious beast, and the dazzling mysterious runes in front of the claws were like golden lightning, as if a golden-winged rock was about to spread its wings and soar into the 9 heavens. A domineering and terrifying aura burst out, and under the terrifying golden claw, the supreme pressure descended, causing the lightning dragon's eyes to fluctuate with fear. However, this fear was then activated by Lei Yang, and the lightning dragon soared into the sky, clashing with Du Xiaofu's claws. Golden light burst out from the rock's chaos-crushing claw, like countless golden lightning snakes sweeping out, and in a domineering manner, fiercely clawed at the lightning dragon, but it didn't destroy the lightning dragon, and was instead shattered by it. Dang dang! Du Xiaofu's expression changed, and the blood in his body surged. At this moment, facing the unreserved Lei Yang, he was once again pushed back. If it weren't for the lightning martial veins in his body, and the physical strength of the immortal Xian body, he would have suffered a great loss just now. Roar! The lightning dragon roared like endless thunder, and lightning flashed as it continued to pounce on Du Xiaofu. Boom! As his figure staggered back, Du Xiaofu's eyes also became serious. Golden light flashed behind him, and the golden wings of the rock stretched out, stabilizing his retreat. Golden light fluctuated, and at the same time, he activated the rock descends to the 9 heavens, as if a real golden-winged rock had descended, carrying the domineering will of the golden-winged rock clan, and directly swept out to confront the lightning dragon. 3 chapters have been released consecutively, with a total of 15,000 words, which is equivalent to 3,000 words of 5 chapters, and I'm still writing. Little use WeChat public account, you phone. Readers, please add me. Thank you. Chapter 2357. Rumble. The void rumbled as if a golden-winged rock and a thunder dragon were fighting. Wind and thunder clanged in the air as a series of dazzling rune lights burst forth. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled incessantly. The energy was as gorgeous as golden fireworks, causing the entire sky to be resplendent. Gorgeous runes poured down, but what they contained was an absolutely terrifying destructive power. Qi-la. The void collapsed and Du Xiaofu's body was once again pushed back. However, the Thunder Dragon's body was also destroyed. Lei Yang's gaze was constantly fluctuating. He could no longer distinguish whether he was fighting with a human or a humanoid rock. That was definitely the aura of the golden-winged rock race. There was no mistaking it. However, Lei Yang quickly determined that the person in front of him was still a human. It was just that there were too many mysteries on his body. If he could suppress him, he would be able to obtain everything. Other than the supreme secret bone, there might be many other rewards. Qi-la. Without any pause, Lei Yang attacked again. A majestic thunder and lightning energy fluctuation was emitted. He waved his hand and the thunder and lightning runes filled the sky. In just an instant, they condensed into a blazing thunder and lightning handprint. Rumble. When the thunder and lightning handprint condensed, the surrounding sea of thunder and lightning boiled. An extremely terrifying destructive aura was also emitted from the handprint. The majestic thunder and lightning energy contained within would cause one's heart to palpitate at a glance. Thunder rage. Thunder. At this moment, Lei Yang's wretched appearance seemed to have disappeared. He was like a thunder god with a dignified and noble temperament. He waved his hand and swooped down. The thunder and lightning handprint directly slapped towards Du Xiaofu. Rumble. Such a handprint, with thunder and lightning intertwined, whistling like a stormy sea. It was like a flower, like a thunder god's anger, wanting to destroy the world. It arrived in an instant. Du Xiaofu also raised his eyebrows at such a grand occasion, but he did not feel any fear. Instead, his battle intent became even more vigorous. In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, his body flickered with a strange rune that soared into the sky. His aura surged and erupted, bringing with it a golden radiance. In an instant, feather-like materialized fragments around Du Xiaofu's body formed layers upon layers, forming a magnificent golden armor that covered his entire body. It was a perfect match with the golden wings on his back. At this instant, the divine and gorgeous armor and the domineering and arrogant golden wings of the rock caused Du Xiaofu to be even more domineering and arrogant. His entire body seemed to have become a true rock in human form, and he intended to flap his wings and tear through the sky. When the azure spirit armor and the golden rock wings complemented each other, the cries of the golden rock pierced through the clouds and cracked the stones. An incomparably domineering aura swept through the void. What kind of method is this? This sudden change caused the eyes of Lei Yang, who was in the middle of making a move, to once again be filled with violent waves that could not be concealed. Everything happened very quickly. A strange and violent energy fluctuation suddenly rippled from Du Xiaofu's body. The red energy that seemed to have materialized suddenly wrapped around his palm, condensing into a dazzling handprint. A powerful pressure spread out from it, and there was a faint roar of dragons, tigers, birds, and turtles. Mysterious Yellow Emperor's seal. Boom! Profound qi poured out like a flood, and terrifying and gorgeous runes rushed out. The battle intent in Du Xiaofu's eyes was even more vigorous. The mysterious Yellow Emperor's seal shot out, and the handprint expanded against the wind. Then, it was accompanied by a destructive power that directly swept out. Everything happened as fast as lightning. The mysterious Yellow Emperor's seal and the lightning palm collided with each other like meteorites. An earth-shattering muffled sound of energy suddenly resounded in the void of this ancient fearsome land. Rumble! Rumble! Gorgeous runes burst out, and monstrous lightning intertwined. The two seemed to be eroding and devouring each other, and in the fierce collision, terrifying energy ripples swept out like a vast ocean. There was also an even more astonishing roar of dragons, tigers, birds, and turtles. Roar, gulp, the roars of dragons and tigers, the cries of birds and turtles, intertwining with one another. An azure dragon, a white tiger, a phoenix, a black tortoise, and a black tortoise appeared. Their roars were like thunder, and their oppressive aura caused the heavens and earth to seethe, causing everyone to feel a chill run down their spine. Bang, bang, bang. Between the two handprints, the void could no longer withstand such a terrifying force. A huge black hole collapsed, revealing a deep and serene darkness. It caused people to feel a chill down their spine and their hearts to tremble. Tap, 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 tap. Du Xiaofu's figure was shaken back again. Under the impact of the terrifying lightning, the blood in his body was surging. He almost spat out blood, but he forcefully endured it. Only then did he manage to hold back the blood in his throat. However, there was a faint trace of golden blood flowing down the corner of his mouth. Du Xiaofu was injured. Lei Yang was too strong. The difference between the middle stage of the Saint Realm and the late stage of the Saint Realm was too great. It was much greater than the difference between the early stage of the Saint Realm and the middle stage of the Saint Realm. However, with the Cyan Spirit armor, the immortal Xian body, and the Thunder Martial vein in his body to absorb the lightning energy, Du Xiaofu's injury was not serious. Qi-la! Lei Yang's eyes were filled with astonishment. This time, he was also shaken back a few steps. His move, Thunder Fury, didn't have much effect. Not only that, he was also shaken back under the tyrannical power of the human youth. Although he was only shaken back a few steps and the human youth was injured, Lei Yang still couldn't accept this. For Lei Yang, he was a late-stage Saint Realm expert. Moreover, he didn't hold back. Under such circumstances, he couldn't do much to a human at the middle stage of the Saint Realm. If this news were to spread, he would definitely lose face. Great! Du Xiaofu was in the sky. Golden light shone brightly. He licked the faint trace of blood on the corner of his mouth with his tongue. His fighting spirit was burning in his body. It was rare for him to be able to fight without holding back to verify his progress during this period of time. Looking at Du Xiaofu in front of him, Lei Yang didn't know why, but there was some uneasiness in his heart. Such a human youth gave him a pure feeling of a golden-winged rock. His tyrannical and ferocious made his heart tremble for no reason. Let's continue. Du Xiaofu took the initiative to attack. Under the combination of the wave-like free step and the golden-winged rock, his speed was like a ghost. His palm glowed and gushed out golden light. It was like a rising sun, carrying a peerless tyrannical aura as it bombarded Lei Yang. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was tyrannical and fierce. He flapped his wings and soared into the sky like a rock, bursting with an unparalleled tyrannical energy. Lei Yang was startled for no reason. Amidst the lightning and thunder, he raised his hand to meet the attack. His palm gushed with lightning, and ancient lightning runes appeared, flickering with lightning. In the sky, an astonishing battle suddenly took place. One was like a thunder god descending, the other was like a real rock flying across the sky. The two of them exchanged blows. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. It was swift and tyrannical, destructive and gorgeous. In the distance, many experts rushed over. Looking at the astonishing battle, they didn't dare to get close at all. Their hearts trembled. Rumble. In the void, divine light exploded. It was as if heaven and earth were going to fall apart. The two of them fought fiercely. Lightning flashed as the great rock struck the sky. They were as fast as lightning, and both of them grasped the best battle results. They attacked fiercely without holding back, causing the hearts of the distant experts to tremble. Sumeru illusion. Tyrannical Tao. Ao. Du Xiaofu assisted with the power of his primordial spirit. His tyrannical voice was like a dragon's cry and a divine elephant's cry. It instantly exploded in the void. The sound of a dragon's cry and elephant's cry was vast and mighty. The roar was like heavenly thunder that resounded without end. There were also electric arcs that engulfed the area, causing the heaven and earth to tremble and the universe to rumble. Who is that? So powerful, too astonishing. The distant spectators were horrified. Even from the distant void, they were still shaken by the sound waves until their hearts trembled. In the depths of the heavens, the two of them continuously fought. Energy fluctuated violently. One of them was like a thunder god. His cultivation was at the late stage of the holy beast realm. He was one of the most powerful experts in this vicious land. The other was like a true peng. He had recently broken through again and was proven to be an invincible existence among his peers. The two of them fought fiercely. They were as fast as lightning, like a peng soaring through the sky. The thunder god had descended to the world. Boom! Boom! The two of them fought rapidly. Every time they collided, the void would directly shatter. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, and then it would continue to recover. In an instant, the two of them had already exchanged dozens of moves. They were all unbelievably fast. They were fierce and swift, clean and neat. It's Lei Yang, it's Lei Yang. Finally, someone recognized Lei Yang. That was a terrifying expert. Who can fight Lei Yang like this? It seems to be the aura of the golden-winged Great Pengbird clan that disappeared. Is someone from the golden-winged Great Pengbird clan reborn? The onlookers were shocked. Who could fight such a fierce battle with an expert like Lei Yang? The fierce battle continued. Du Xiaofu fought fiercely. The more he fought, the braver he became. The golden peng wings, the azure spirit armor, the immortal Shen body, and the vast Shen qi in his body. In addition, the thunder martial vein absorbed the power of thunder and lightning. There was also the occasional help of the primordial spirit. The late stage of the holy beast realm was much stronger than the middle stage of the holy beast realm. The invisible power was enough to control everything. However, Du Xiaofu was an exception. Although he was in the middle stage of the holy beast realm, he had transcended this shackle. The golden peng wings and the wave-treading carefree steps allowed Du Xiaofu's speed to not be suppressed by Lei Yang. In addition, he had recently comprehended the power of space from the three swords. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was surprised to find that he was like a fish in water in the power of space. It allowed his speed to rise to another level. With the azure spirit armor and the immortal Shen body, Du Xiaofu's achievements in the physical body were abnormal. It was enough for him to fight against those above his level. Fight! Fight! The more Du Xiaofu fought, the braver he became. The star-breaking fist, Pegasus meteor fist, and various other techniques were constantly blasted out. They were fierce and fierce. Lei Yang's aura was awe-inspiring. It was also incomparably terrifying. Moreover, it had the absolute advantage. However, it couldn't do anything to Du Xiaofu. This kid is deliberately fighting. He is testing himself. Boom! The golden peng wings flapped. Du Xiaofu's palm gushed out starlight. It was like a river of stars. This was the technique of the Yin-Yang school. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was trying to verify and comprehend what he had learned. He wanted to gain something from this battle. It was just like back when he was in Tianwu Academy, tempering himself in the desolate ancient space. Time after time, He would temper himself and comprehend himself. At this moment, the actual battle was undoubtedly more effective than the illusory tempering. However, under normal circumstances, who would dare to challenge such an opponent to temper himself, test himself, and comprehend himself? Only Du Xiaofu dared to do so. Of course, this was also because Du Xiaofu had absolute strength and confidence. This kid is doing it on purpose. He is tempering himself. Finally, Lei Yang felt Du Xiaofu's intention. It turned out that the human in front of him didn't put him in his eyes at all. He was using him to temper himself. This was humiliation, an absolute humiliation. How could Lei Yang tolerate a human in the intermediate sage realm not putting him in his eyes? After nearly 100 moves, although he had an absolute advantage, he couldn't really suppress Yi Shiwen. Lei Yang's old face had long been embarrassed. Bastard! Lei Yang's beard fluttered like electric arcs. His deep eyes were very cold. He condensed his hand seals and the sea of lightning around him began to fluctuate. Ancient lightning talisman runes rushed to the sky as if they were going to drown the sky. Rumble, at this moment, the sound of the thunder had also changed. It was like the sound of the heavens. The thunder and lightning gathered into arm-sized lightning bolts that spread out in all directions. This incomparably vast thunder and lightning pressure once again enveloped Du Xiaofu's body. Suddenly, the pressure on Du Xiaofu increased greatly. It was as if he was facing hundreds of thousands of mountains. There was this kind of feeling of breathlessness. The pressure of the lightning was even more terrifying. But at the same time, the thunder martial vein in Du Xiaofu's body and the spiritual thunder in his primordial spirit in his Naiwen palace seemed to be attracted by something. They were about to come out and become active. "Kid, you are making a mistake," Lei Yang shouted. His voice was like the roar of the thunder god, shaking the heaven and earth. This kid actually dared to use him to temper himself. Such contempt and humiliation made Lei Yang completely angry. Rumble, countless lightning scattered as if it was going to destroy everything in the world. It was terrifying. This is Lei Yang's ultimate move. It's too terrifying. Some of the onlookers in the distance exclaimed and retreated quickly. They did not even dare to get close. Occasionally, the lightning that raged through the void would affect them. Once it hit them, it was enough to destroy their bodies and souls. The terrifying lightning condensed into thunderbolts, covering the void and pouring down continuously. It had an unfathomable power, as if it was going to destroy all life. Under the bombardment of such lightning, Du Xiaofu had the thunder martial vein in his body to absorb the power of lightning. Coupled with the immortal Xian body, he could not help but feel a little stuffy in his chest. Under the impact of the huge force, he was constantly pushed back and some blood flowed out of his mouth. That person is injured. It seems that he is no match for Lei Yang. A sharp-eyed expert could see everything in the void and exclaimed in shock. Such an expert was still no match for Lei Yang. Du Xiaofu's mouth was bleeding again, but there was no fear in his eyes. The cyan spirit armor on his body did not dim. On the contrary, the corner of his mouth raised into a cold arc and he muttered, "The power of lightning, rumble." In the next moment, on the cyan spirit armor on Du Xiaofu's body, there was a bright purple lightning talisman engraving, making the cyan spirit armor appear purple gold. Du Xiaofu activated his thunder martial vein, and the lightning spread. Rolling thunder and lightning fell from all directions, and thunder clouds occupied the void and spread out. Thunder and lightning swept across the sky, and silver snakes flashed. The aura was strong. This was the thunder martial vein. The killing aura spread. It did not have a murderous aura, but it showed the majesty of creation. It showed the righteousness of heaven and earth. It was the purest of yang, and it could vast the firmament and punish all life. Du Xiaofu stepped into the thunderbolts and allowed the destructive thunderbolts to descend and strike him. The surging electric arcs that fell on his body were unscathed. The thunder martial vein was activated and absorbed the power of thunder and lightning to strengthen the thunder martial vein. The immortal Xian body and the cyan spirit armor were not afraid of the remaining thunderbolts. What kind of martial vein is this? Lei Yang was shocked. He was born with the profound meaning of thunder and lightning. At this moment, he could feel that the martial vein was like the sovereign of thunder and lightning. It could not be provoked and wanted to make him crawl. Boo! Activating the thunder martial vein, Du Xiaofu flapped his wings and soared into the sky. He was extremely domineering, like a real rock flying across the sky. He ran amok in the descending lightning and stepped into the sea of lightning around Lei Yang. It's too scary. This martial vein is too scary. There were more and more onlookers in the distance. Some people exclaimed. This thunder martial vein was too amazing. Lei Yang looked straight at Du Xiaofu, who was getting closer and closer. His eyes were dazzling with lightning. Roar! With a thunderous roar, the sea of lightning around Lei Yang wriggled and gathered. In an instant, it gathered into a huge thunder goat that was hundreds of feet tall. Its whole body was covered with lightning, and it was majestic and majestic. It was full of destructive aura. It was like the god of thunder beasts, standing in the void, and could destroy all enemies and suppress all life. At this moment, Lei Yang had already used all his strength. There was nothing to hold back. At this point, he could only use all his strength. This giant goat was dazzling with lightning. Its aura was ancient and destructive. It was like a living creature. Its eyes seemed to contain two thunder suns. It was too scary. Thunder true form. Some people in the distance were aghast. This was one of Lei Yang's innate skills. It was a terrifying skill and could be considered as a trump card. Kid, it's time to end this. Lei Yang shouted. The huge thunder goat carried with it thousands of thunderbolts. It was majestic and mighty, and it pounced forward. Endless lightning lingered, covering the void. The thunder goat galloped, and the sky shook violently as if it was about to explode. Heaven and earth were turned upside down, and the mountains and rivers were in turmoil. Rumble, this kind of power made this part of the world shake. Rumble, sounds roared in the world. The mountain below collapsed, and there were pitch-black spatial cracks spreading in the void. This kind of power made Du Xiaofu's eyes narrow. However, his battle intent did not decrease. In the midst of the surging purple lightning, with the sound of wind and thunder, he waved his hand and a broadsword appeared in his hand. The sword body was like a tiger's bone and dragon's bone, like a phoenix facing the sun, like a divine turtle entrenched in the sky. It made people's souls tremble for no reason. Buzz buzz. When this broadsword appeared, a dazzling light erupted like a suppressed volcano. Dazzling talisman runes soared into the sky. This was the sound of wind and thunder, but it was like the roar of a demon god. The sky was filled with purple gold light. The purple gold heavenly tower appeared. It was like a phoenix facing the sun, about to spread its wings and soar into the sky. A dazzling energy erupted from the purple gold heavenly tower like a suppressed volcano. The god of weapons, peerless in the sky. Roar! Roar! Ooh! Roar! This roar was like the roar of a dragon, the roar of a tiger, the cry of a bird, and the cry of a turtle. It was also like the roar of a demon god. Tyrannical sword Dao. Roar! With a loud shout, Du Xiaofu did not stop. He waved the purple gold heavenly tower and directly slashed down. At this moment, his eyes suddenly shone with golden light, and the purple gold light overflowed into the sky. Boom! Roar! This sword was like a force that could split a mountain. There was nothing fancy about it, but there was a domineering aura that suddenly spread out from that sword. Chi-la! Wherever this sword passed, the space almost collapsed, revealing traces of a vacuum. Rumble! Rumble! As this sword swept out, this ancient world trembled violently. Many mountains below were shaking violently. The earth was collapsing, and the void was distorting as if destruction was coming. When this sword swept out, the thunder goat's eyes trembled fiercely. The sword light shone with purple lightning. Dazzling talisman runes bloomed. Under the brilliance, there was a terrifying and domineering destructive energy hidden. This sword, Du Xiaofu's domineering sword Wei, had also added the thunder profound and thunder martial vein. It was an all-out attack and also one of his own trump cards. The huge thunder goat roared, waved its claws and soared into the sky, slapping towards the sword. In an instant, the sword light silently disappeared into the huge thunder goat wherever it passed. However, this silence was even more shocking. Then, under the trembling gazes of the crowd, a long spatial crack appeared in the claws of the huge thunder goat. Then it broke, causing the body of the huge thunder goat to dim by a lot. However, at the same time, the dazzling and destructive thunder goat was not completely destroyed. Only one of its claws was broken. Its huge body still carried the power of thunder as it heavily smashed into Du Xiaofu's body. Rumble! The huge thunder goat turned into a dazzling thunderbolt and fiercely charged down, surging into Du Xiaofu's body. Thunder rumbled in all directions, and the void shattered. Du Xiaofu's body also fiercely charged down from the sky, smashing into the ground like a meteorite. Bang bang! A mountain peak collapsed from Du Xiaofu's impact. The visual impact was shocking to the soul. Puff! This time, Du Xiaofu finally could not hold back and spat out a mouthful of golden blood. His face also turned pale. He was careless and underestimated the thunder goat, causing him to suffer a big loss. Fortunately, under the protection of the immortal Shen body and the Cyan spirit armor, it was not a big deal. More importantly, although the power of thunder and lightning was surging, half of it was absorbed by the thunder martial vein. The remaining power did not cause too much damage to him. He spat out a mouthful of blood. It was purely caused by the impact, but he was still injured. Flapping his wings and soaring into the sky, Du Xiaofu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with the purple-gold heavenly fault in his hand. Lei Yang was astonished. That was one of his trump cards, yet it only injured him. It didn't seem like he was seriously injured. Just now, he had clearly felt the terrifying power of that sword. He had suffered quite a bit of impact and almost couldn't hold on. Let's see how long you can last. Roar! The words came out from the thunder goat's mouth. He was already furious and had been pushed to the limit. Suddenly, an even more violent and blazing destructive aura of thunder and lightning burst out from his body. In an instant, it shook the clouds and rushed into the sky. Lightning flashed and thunder roared. The thunder goat's body was expanding, and in the blink of an eye, it turned into a huge thunder goat standing in the void. The surrounding thunder and lightning boiled and raged, causing the entire void to tremble. Fourth update, this chapter has 6,000 words. Today's update has a total of 20,000 words. Looking for flowers. Chapter 2358. The Thunder Goat was the same as the Thunder Goat's phantom. This was the real body of the Thunder Goat, and it was much larger than the Thunder Goat's original form. From the huge lightning goat's body, a terrifying destructive aura filled the air. Lightning intertwined, causing the creatures in the distance to tremble. The huge lightning goat was in the sky, filled with lightning and covered the sky. It made people feel small and shocked, and their souls trembled. Kid, to be able to make me use my real body, I have to say that you are the strongest human I have ever seen. Unfortunately, you are still not enough. After all, there is still a huge gap between us. The lightning goat opened its mouth, and its voice shook the void. From its huge body, a dazzling lightning rose like a divine fire. It's about time. Next time. Du Xiaofu looked at the lightning goat, and a smile appeared on his pale face. To be able to make the lightning goat use its real body, it could be considered as proving himself. As his voice fell, Du Xiaofu's hand formed a seal, and a ray of light swept out. Boom! In an instant, the mountains below roared, and the void fluctuated. A special talisman pattern filled the air, as if it was channeling the power of heaven and earth. A formless aura rushed into the sky, turning into a light screen and enveloping the void. The lightning goat's expression changed, and the void around it froze. It was instantly enveloped, and it could not escape. Then, everything in front of it began to change. Talisman array? No, it's an illusion. The lightning goat's expression changed. No matter how strong it was, it did not dare to be careless in the face of this illusion. The onlookers watched from afar and did not know what was happening. They only saw that the void was blurry. This was an illusion that Du Xiaofu had set up long ago. It came from the heavenly spirit record, left behind by his master, the Sacred Hand's Soul Emperor. This was just a simple illusion, but with Du Xiaofu's current primordial spirit power and strength, it would definitely have an amazing effect. However, it was obviously impossible to trap the lightning goat with this illusion. Not long after, the lightning goat walked out of the illusion. Its huge body of lightning stood in the depths of the sky, and lightning intertwined, dazzling and bright. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu had already disappeared from the sky, disappearing into the void. "Brat, you can't escape." The thunder goat roared angrily. It had used its true body, and had gone all out. However, it hadn't been able to do anything to that human being of the intermediate stage of the sage realm. So, how could its old face endure this? Moreover, the other half of the mysterious bone was still with him. Could it really be that human? He's still alive. Lei Dian's eyes were unsettled. Rumor had it that this was a peerless supreme human with the name of the Rock Emperor. Just now, this human had the supreme aura of the golden-winged rock clan. It was impossible for there to be so many terrifying supreme existences among the human race. "No matter who you are, you can't escape," Lei Yang bellowed. His figure tore through the void and disappeared into the void like a thunder sun. The surrounding experts were still in shock. Such a young man was actually able to walk away from Lei Yang's hands. It was inconceivable. The space was bleak, and the clouds in the sky were dark red. The air was filled with a murderous aura, and it seemed very oppressive. In the mountains, there were dark black rocks that gave off a metallic luster. Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Qing Luan, Xiao Qing, Zhong Yuan, and Bing Toad appeared. "Brother Xiaofu will be fine, right?" Qing Luan was a little worried. Lei Yang was an expert of the advanced stage of the Holy Beast realm. In the outside world, he was one of the top existences. Even if Brother Xiaofu is no match for him, he will be able to escape. Dai Xingyu's clear eyes were filled with confidence. "Don't worry. He won't do anything that he isn't confident in," Ouyang Shuang said. "Qi." As Ouyang Shuang's voice fell, the void quietly fluctuated. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared from the void. His face was rather pale, and there was a faint trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. Zhong Yuan and Bing Toad bowed. Their eyes were secretly shocked. In front of Lei Yang, their master had actually escaped unscathed. "Brother Xiaofu, you're injured." Looking at Du Xiaofu's pale face and the faint trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, Dai Xingyu's eyes suddenly became anxious. "Are you all right?" Ouyang Shuang stepped forward. In her jade-like hand, a silk handkerchief emitting a faint fragrance was gently wiping the traces of blood at the corner of Du Xiaofu's mouth. Her big eyes were filled with anxiety. "It's just a small injury. It doesn't matter." Du Xiaofu smiled at Ouyang Shuang and gently grabbed her jade-like hand. His injury was not serious, but he had consumed a lot of energy. After this test, Du Xiaofu already had a rough understanding of his own strength. Lei Yang had used his original body in the end. That was his strongest state. Du Xiaofu was also very clear that he had not used his pulse spirit and spiritual thunder power. Moreover, he still had the 8 trigrams profound as his trump card. If they were to fight, the result would be really hard to say. However, that was a fight to the death, and there would only be an outcome at the end. There were experts everywhere, and he had quite a number of enemies. There were also dangers everywhere. Du Xiaofu did not plan to fight with Lei Yang to the end. He knew that even if he fought to the end, it would be difficult for him to truly deal with Lei Yang. Both sides would most likely suffer, and the gains would not make up for the losses. After testing himself, Du Xiaofu knew when to stop. Originally, he had set up a method in case he encountered Lei Yang and had a way out. In the end, he still used it. "Master, what about Lei Yang?" Pai Yuan asked. He was very shocked and wanted to know the result. He knew Lei Yang's strength. It was one of the top existences in the entire fearsome grounds. Many ancestor-level experts of the human race and beast alliance had to be courteous to it. They shouldn't be able to catch up so quickly. Du Xiaofu said, and the corners of his mouth curled into a spurious smile as he asked, "Have you found the location?" "It should be not far ahead." Pai Yuan replied. His eyes were filled with unbearable shock. "Master is too fierce." You guys enter the desolate ancient space first. I have something to do. Du Xiaofu lowered his eyes and said to Ouyang Shuang. He still had something to do and had to end it quickly. The illusory formation would not be able to stop Lei Yang for long. He would probably catch up soon. Be careful. Ouyang Shuang did not say much. There was a trace of sadness in her eyes. She was worried and hoped that she could be of some help. However, she had become his burden. Perhaps, without me by his side, he would be more relaxed and not be so burdened. Ouyang Shuang muttered in her heart. However, there was no trace of it on her face. On her peerless face, there was a charming smile. Don't worry. There won't be any hindrance. At least we can escape. Du Xiaofu said. As the sound of his voice faded, his slightly pale lips lightly pressed against those tender red lips. A wisp of fragrance entered his nose, and those red lips were soft and tender, causing people to linger and be unwilling to let go. I didn't see anything. Dai Xingyu covered her eyes with her hands and said with a charming smile. I didn't see anything either. I'm so embarrassed. Qin Wan Shaoqing covered her eyes with her hands. However, she was secretly looking curiously through the gaps between her fingers. All right. Ouyang Shuang was shy and took a step back. Her face was rosy, making her look even more charming. Du Xiaofu summoned the desolate ancient space and sent Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu and Qin Wan Shaoqing into the desolate ancient space. Following which, his body wriggled and his face distorted. Under the dumbfounded eyes of the desolate ape and Bing Toad, his body gradually shrank and became thin and withered. His resolute and handsome face had no flesh and blood, only skin and bones. He even grew a goatee, giving him a wretched look. He looked exactly like Lei Yang. Boom! Lightning flickered in his eyes. Du Xiaofu used the divine art of disguise and turned into Lei Yang's appearance. Other than his clothes, the lightning aura on his body was exactly the same. The desolate ape and Bing Toad's eyes almost popped out as they stared at Lei Yang in horror. Even the aura on his body had disappeared, making it difficult to distinguish him. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have never believed it. Looking from afar, the mountain range was winding, steep and deep. Layers upon layers of dark brown rocks twisted and turned along with the valleys in the mountains, like a dark and deep tie, winding and dancing on this bleak ancient land. On both sides of the valleys, tall mountains shot up into the sky like vertical swords, separating heaven and earth. On top of the mountains, dark red clouds were faintly discernible. That little fish is very sneaky. He hid quite quickly. However, he must be nearby and hid his aura. Let's find him slowly. This time, we can't let him escape. On top of a huge rock, a middle-aged man in yellow robes was looking down from above. His gaze swept the area below him. His figure was vigorous, and there was a yellow light in his eyes that was like lightning. That little fish is really good at hiding. Beside the middle-aged man in yellow robes, there was an old man in red robes. There were red patterns on his robes, like flames. He had a hooked nose and a wide forehead. He was quite elegant, but at the moment, his eyes were extremely gloomy. Lord Lei Yang and the others are here. They should have found something. Suddenly, the middle-aged man in yellow robes' eyes flickered. He looked into the void and felt a familiar aura. Hearing the middle-aged man in yellow robes, the red-robed man's heart skipped a beat. He looked in the direction of the middle-aged man's gaze. There was a faint sound of wind breaking. Then, there was a fluctuation in the void. In an instant, 3 figures tore through the void and descended directly from the void. The 3 figures appeared in the void. 3 invisible auras froze the void. They looked around. They were Lei Yang, Desolate Ape and Bing Toad, who were transformed by Du Xiaofu using the divine art of disguise. Lord Lei Yang. The middle-aged man in yellow robes and the red-robed man in red robes looked at the newcomers and immediately bowed to the person in front. Their eyes were filled with respect and they didn't dare to look directly at him. Where's the fish? Du Xiaofu asked. His voice was like thunder, no different from Lei Yang's. There was no flaw in his voice. Then, he descended towards the 2 of them. Lord Lei Yang, the fish should be hiding nearby. However, It has a concealment technique and it is difficult to find it. The red-robed man in red robes replied. He looked at Desolate Ape and Bing Toad from the corner of his eyes and was surprised. He asked, I wonder if Lord Lei Yong has caught the human. The other half of the secret bone is in his hands. The human is very cunning. Fortunately, Lord Lei Yong arrived in time. Desolate Ape and Bing Toad approached the red-robed man in red robes without leaving any traces. However, suddenly, a monstrous profound chi swept out from Desolate Ape's body. He threw a punch at the red-robed man in red robes. Desolate Ape, what are you doing? In an instant, the expression of the red-clothed, wide-robed man changed drastically. Both of his eyes suddenly became sharp and bright light erupted from within his body. While he swiftly retreated, a light pillar blocked the demonic ape's attack. Boom! However, at the same time, Bing Toad appeared beside him. His icy aura was monstrous and froze the void. His fierce attack was merciless and poured down. The yellow-robed middle-aged man's face changed. However, he did not have time to pay attention to the red-robed man in red robes because Lord Lei Yong had suddenly attacked. He was much faster than Desolate Ape and Bing Toad. Boom! Du Xiaofu attacked directly. He did not give the ground wolf any time to react. As soon as he landed, he had already attacked. His power was like thunder and lightning. His punch shattered the void and landed on the ground wolf's chest. The ground wolf did not have time to react. The sudden attack came in an instant. With Du Xiaofu's current cultivation and strength, even if they were to fight head-on, the ground wolf, who was at the peak of the middle stage of the sacred beast realm, was very strong. It was not weaker than Yu Bol, but it was still not a match for Du Xiaofu. Moreover, Du Xiaofu had been prepared for this sneak attack, and the ground wolf had been caught off guard. Bang! A low muffled sound came from the ground wolf's chest. As its body was sent flying, the place where the fist landed on its chest was covered in blood. Flesh and blood flew everywhere. Large mouthfuls of blood poured out from its mouth. Its eyes were still in a daze and had not recovered from the shock. Rumble! The ground wolf's body crashed into the canyon, sending rocks into the sky and shaking the mountains. Boom! An incomparably surging aura gushed downwards. Before Di Lang could even get up, Du Xiaofu's silhouette had already descended, like a rock descending to the 9 heavens, suppressing all living things. His foot was like a heavenly pillar as it descended. Within his eyes, a strange light flashed as mysterious runes flickered, bringing with it a strange power that caused Di Lang to be dumbstruck. The ground wolf could not resist at all. Du Xiaofu did not stop. As he waved his hand, a supreme pressure spread out from his palm. With lightning flashing and thunder rumbling, silver-yellow electric arcs erupted and condensed into a dazzling seal. In the seal, there seemed to be the shadow of a golden-winged rock that was about to fly out. A monstrous pressure spread out from it. This was the Blood Soul Seal. With the roars of dragons, phoenixes, lions, and tigers, it fell directly between the ground wolf's eyebrows. At this moment, a dazzling golden light burst out from the ground wolf's mind. The palm print of the golden-winged rock appeared in its mind. The electric arcs of the origin spirit wreaked havoc. A monstrous supreme pressure swept out and imprisoned its beast soul. The ground wolf's beast soul struggled violently. It wanted to escape, but it was unable to do so no matter how hard it tried. Beast Control Technique. Go! In the outside world, Du Xiaofu condensed the last handprint, forming the Blood Soul Seal and setting up the Beast Control Technique. Du Xiaofu didn't want to let go of such a peak middle stage holy beast realm cultivator. Otherwise, if he caught the ground wolf by surprise, it would be enough to destroy its body even if it didn't die. Chapter 2359. After struggling for a while, the Earth Wolf beast soul finally succumbed and began to be tamed. In the outside world, when Du Xiaofu's final hand seal fell, he ignored the Earth Wolf and disappeared again. Ku! Above the canyon, the red-robed Lai Diao had transformed into his true form, a huge bird spreading its wings and stirring up howling winds. But at this moment, Lai Diao's body was dripping with blood. His eyes were merciless and sharp as he flapped his wings and tore through space with his claws. He was fighting with a huge ape and ice toad. Under the joint sneak attack of the ape and ice toad, Lai Diao had suffered heavy injuries and was now firmly suppressed. He had no idea what was going on. It's not Lord Lei Yang, it's that human. As Du Xiaofu released his domineering aura on the Earth Wolf, Lai Diao suddenly realized that it was not Lord Lei Yang, but that human. For some reason, the ape and ice toad were with him. But it was too late. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared like a ghost, no longer in the form of Lei Yang. Without hiding, he directly suppressed Lai Diao. Given Lai Diao's cultivation and strength, and the ape and ice toad had already been seriously injured, how could he be a match for Du Xiaofu? With practiced ease, Du Xiaofu once again placed a blood-soul seal on Lai Diao's body. Quick, enter the desolate ancient space. After placing the blood-soul seal on Lai Diao, Du Xiaofu immediately called out the desolate ancient space, bringing the ape, ice toad, earth wolf, and Lai Diao into it, and his figure instantly shot through the air. Crackle! Just a few breaths after Du Xiaofu's figure disappeared, the space above this area was torn apart. Electric arcs rippled and Lei Yang's figure appeared. His eyes were bright with lightning and his expression was very gloomy and ugly. Peering down, Lei Yang sensed a familiar aura. Looking at the mess in the canyon, he was afraid that Di Lang and Lai Diao had also been killed. With their cultivation and strength, they wouldn't be a match for that brat. Bastard, Lei Yang was furious. He didn't expect that the kid would dare to attack them one by one. It was clear that he didn't put him in his eyes at all. He was ruthlessly toyed with. Unable to restrain his anger, Lei Yang unleashed his will, causing electric arcs to ripple. Lei Yang sensed that the brat should have already left after exchanging blows with the ground wolf. The ground wolf was not easy to deal with, so he should be hiding and recuperating. Brat, even if you run to the ends of the earth, I won't let you off. Then the lightning goat tore through the skies and left. No matter where that brat fled, he would most likely head to Heaven Burial Deathland. At that time, he wouldn't let him off. It was a dark space and a narrow karst cave. This was deep underground. Du Xiaofu used the scarlet demonic horse monkey primordial spirit to enter and set up a seal. With the lightning goat's cultivation, Du Xiaofu estimated that it wouldn't be a problem to avoid the lightning goat's search. Even if he was discovered, it wouldn't matter. After all, he wasn't running for his life, just avoiding. For the time being, he didn't want to continue fighting. After a while, Du Xiaofu's lips curled into a smile as he sensed that the lightning goat was far away. However, Du Xiaofu wasn't in a hurry. Who knew if the lightning goat would be smart enough to come back and attack? Sure enough, a moment later, above the calm canyon, there was a surge of lightning, and the lightning goat's figure appeared again. His eyes were gloomy and somewhat unwilling. Then he left resentfully. In the underground karst cave, Du Xiaofu's lips curled into a smile as he called out the ancient desolate space and entered. Master! Inside the ancient desolate space, the demonic ape, ice toad, and the others saluted. The ground wolf and Lai Diao were already in awe and submission. Looking at the ground wolf and Lai Diao, Du Xiaofu asked, "Do you have any definite information about the flying fish?" The flying fish was Du Xiaofu's main goal. There must be something mysterious about that half of the bone, so he hoped to get some results. I've been tracking it all the way and found traces of that small fish. It disappeared in the canyon. I guess it's hiding nearby. Lai Diao said. Not long ago, it was he who found the flying fish's traces and sent out a signal. That small fish's strength isn't very good, but its concealment method is strange. It escaped several times. The ground wolf said. In terms of strength, it was enough to deal with the flying fish, but the flying fish's escape method was extremely strange, leaving it helpless. Are you sure that the fish disappeared in the canyon? Du Xiaofu asked Lai Diao. Now, it seemed that only the flying fish knew the origin of the half of the bone. I'm sure. Lai Diao nodded affirmatively. Is that so? Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered. He then sat down cross-legged and formed a seal with his hands. Golden light shot out from the center of his brows and instantly spread out in the ancient desolate space, filling the air with misty chi. Ao! A golden ape phantom appeared behind Du Xiaofu, roaring like thunder, shaking the void, its innate spiritual eyes overlooking the world. Red-bone horse monkey. The black ape was shocked, its beast soul trembling, and its body went limp. Golden light fluctuated, and the red-bone horse monkey phantom behind Du Xiaofu was filled with wind and thunder. An invisible ripple spread out from the ancient desolate space. After a full 15 minutes, the red-bone horse monkey phantom disappeared from Du Xiaofu's back, and the terrible pressure faded away. The black ape and the others returned to normal. It seems that my luck is really good. Du Xiaofu got up, a smile in his eyes. The red-bone horse monkey seemed to have found the fish in the bloodline spirit. Towering mountain ridges, deep canyons, rocks rolling up and down, winding paths leading to seclusion. The mountain peaks on both sides of the valleys were thousands of feet high, as if they were carved by knives and axes. In the depths of the valleys, there was a narrow area surrounded by slanted cliffs, as if this place had fallen into a sinkhole. In this narrow area, from the top of the cliff, there was a small stream of water that fell down, condensing into a small pond that was only 1 or 2 meters wide. It could be said to be a work of art. The stream meandered through the cliff, zigzagging as it flowed. In the end, it fell from high up in the sky and dripped into this small pool. It was a work of the gods, a creation of nature, and it had a wonderful and natural scene. Whoosh whoosh. Above the void, there was the sound of wind breaking, and 4 figures descended from the air into the valleys. A man and 3 women. The man was wearing a purple robe, and the 3 women had outstanding temperaments, as if they were immortals that did not eat the food of mortals. These 4 people were Du Xiaofu, Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Qing Wan, and Xiao Qing. Brother Xiaofu, what are we doing here? Dai Xingyu looked around. There were few people here, and everywhere was desolate. There did not seem to be anything special about this place. This place is not bad. It has a feeling of a work of art. Du Xiaofu faintly smiled, then looked at the small pond not far away. Do you see that? There's a fish over there. Hearing this, following Du Xiaofu's gaze, Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, and Xiao Qing immediately looked at the small pond. They saw that in the small pond, there was a fish that was half a foot long, puffing out bubbles. This was an extremely ordinary fish. There was no ripple of aura on it, and it was leisurely passing through time in this small pond. Although this fish is a bit small, it should be enough to fill my stomach. Do you want to stew it or roast it? Du Xiaofu faintly smiled and said slowly, "It's so small. It's not even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth." Xiao Qing pouted. Such a small fish was truly not enough to fill the gaps between her teeth. That's not necessarily the case. Perhaps this fish will suddenly become large. Then it will be enough. Half will be roasted, and the other half will be stewed. The taste should be quite good. Du Xiaofu chuckled. He looked at the small pond and said, "As for the fish in the water, I wonder if you like the first half stewed or the second half stewed?" Before Du Xiaofu had finished speaking, the small fish in the small pond suddenly exploded with light. It charged into the sky like lightning, wanting to break through the air and escape. This sudden change caused Dai Xingyu, Xiao Qing, and Xiao Qing's expressions to change. They were very surprised. They had peeped earlier, and there was clearly no trace of aura at all. It was only an ordinary fish. They never thought that it would change in an instant. Trash, you still want to escape? At the same time, a loud shout came from the void above the canyon. In an instant, 4 terrifying auras surged out and directly sealed the void. Di Lang, Bing Toad, Zhong Yuan, and Lai Diao appeared in the void and directly sealed the surrounding space. Boom. The lightning stopped in an instant. The light was dazzling, and it turned into a 5-foot-long flying fish with a pair of wings on its back. It was unclear whether it was fins or wings. It was filled with a pitch-black light, and it looked more like wings. This fish's aura was astonishing at this moment. It even carried a domineering aura that caused the surrounding void to surge. It's that fish. The Qing Wan and Xiao Qing were shocked. This fish was actually the fish they saw not long after they entered this fearsome ground. However, at that time, it was several thousand feet in size. At this moment, Although its size had shrunk, the aura on its body was even stronger than before. Du Xiaofu looked at the fish and was secretly surprised. Its aura was even stronger than before. It was probably on the verge of a breakthrough, showing signs of breaking through to the middle stage of the Saint Beast realm. "It's you!" When such a fish appeared, it looked at Zhong Yuan, Li Diao, Bing Toad, and Di Lang with a dignified expression. They knew that the other party had come prepared. A fierce battle was inevitable. This time, it would not be easy to escape again. "Continue to escape if you have the ability," Di Lang said and sealed the void, making it difficult for this fish to escape. Fei Yu looked at Di Lang and the other three and snorted. Then, it looked down at Du Xiaofu and fell on Du Xiaofu. It was a little surprised that this human was walking together with Zhong Yuan, Li Diao, and the others. "Boy, I really want to know how you found me." Fei Yu was very puzzled. It had its own way of escaping and hiding. Even under the detection of Lei Yang, it could hide. It did not know how it was discovered by this boy. "It's very simple. Nothing grows in this place. There is no vitality. How can there be a lone fish here?" Du Xiaofu smiled and said with a calm expression. This Fei Yu did indeed possess extraordinary skill and talent in concealment. With the Scarlet Horse Monkey Vein Soul's ability, it was only able to detect that there were living creatures here, but did not discover anything special. However, in such a desolate and lifeless place, how could there be a lone fish living by itself? Hearing this, Fei Yu's eyes twitched and emitted a terrifying light. It did not expect that it would make such a mistake. "Will you submit to me, or should I beat you up first and then submit?" Du Xiaofu looked at Fei Yu and said softly. "Boy, do you think it's possible?" Fei Yu sneered and looked at him with disdain. It knew that this boy was not simple, but it was impossible for it to submit. Then, it looked at Di Lang, Bing Toad, and Li Diao and said, "Why do you keep chasing me? The treasure is with that boy. Just take it." "How treacherous." Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows. This fish was just as treacherous back then. It had given the half-secret bone to Du Xiaofu in order to reap the benefits after Du Xiaofu, Li Diao, and Li Diao were both injured. Now, it was repeating the same trick. "Humph, you're the one I'm looking for." However, Di Lang directly attacked after Fei Yu's word sounded. A claw directly tore through space and rushed downwards. Fei Yu's expression changed. His ferocious eyes fluctuated between yin and yang as a storm rose in his heart. However, this storm in his heart transformed into a dark ruthlessness in his eyes. However, he did not dare to face the ground wolf head-on. The wings on his back flapped, and his speed was incomparably fast. He actually avoided the ground wolf's attack. Bang! Zhong Yuan arrived in the blink of an eye. He did not hold back as he threw a punch forward. The space in front of him suddenly cracked with a crashing sound under this punch, revealing a long pitch-black crack that descended from the sky and blocked in front of Fei Yu with lightning speed. Rumble, Ice Toads and Li Diao's attacks arrived almost at the same time. Two energy pillars intertwined with runes and mysterious symbols. They were like rainbow-colored thunderbolts as they violently descended from the sky. In an instant, there were 3 attacks, and none of them were below his. Fei Yu's gaze was incomparably solemn. The light on his body burst forth, and the black wings on his back instantly expanded. It was as if the wings were protecting his entire body, tightly covering him within. Bang, bang, bang. The 3 attacks instantly landed on Fei Yu's body. However, the dark black wings were just like an iron wall. They allowed the 3 attacks to collide with them. A rumbling sound was emitted, but they were not shaken much. Surprise surged in Du Xiaofu's eyes. This method was quite similar to the methods of the great golden-winged Peng tribe. It was very strange that Fei Yu's defense was actually so strong. Bang! The 3 attacks were blocked. Soon after, pitch-black runes erupted from Fei Yu's black wings. It spread its wings and soared into the sky like a great peng. Its aura was frightening and shocking, causing the surrounding space to ripple. It was about to break through the air. Bang! Du Xiaofu made his move. Golden light covered 100,000 feet as it forcefully suppressed Fei Yu. The pitiful Fei Yu was simply unable to contend. It was trampled by Du Xiaofu, spitting out blood. Its body was suppressed to the point where it was unable to expand. Its fierce eyes were aghast. This human clearly did not possess such frightening strength not long ago. Chapter 2360. At this moment, Fei Yu more or less understood why Di Lang and the others were with this human. Li, like the cry of a rock, a strange seal filled with supreme beast might. Du Xiaofu suppressed Fei Yu and forcibly set up the blood-soul seal. A moment later, Du Xiaofu set up a seal in a secluded place and entered the ancient desolate space. What exactly is this half of the secret bone? In the ancient desolate space, Du Xiaofu took out the half of the secret bone he had obtained from Fei Yu back then. It was only the size of a baby's arm, about the length of a palm, and emitted a faint light. At this moment, when this half of the secret bone landed in his hand again, Du Xiaofu still felt as if his entire body had been electrocuted. It was as if this half of the secret bone contained a mysterious power that could connect with him, inexplicably allowing him to form a certain kind of connection with it. The eyes of Pai Yuan, Lai Diao and the others trembled when they saw this item. This was the great treasure they had always wanted to obtain. It was rumored that Fei Yu's cultivation had soared in such a short time because he had obtained this item. This item came from the sky burial wasteland. I obtained it by accident, Fei Yu said. At this moment, there were still ripples in his eyes when he saw this half of the secret bone. He knew best just how much benefit he had obtained from this half of the secret bone. Then, Fei Yu explained everything. At that time, he had yet to step into the saint stage, and wanted to find an opportunity to step into the saint stage. One day, he entered the sky burial wasteland and fell into a dangerous situation. However, he accidentally discovered an entrance and obtained this half of the secret bone. This secret bone is very strange, but I didn't manage to comprehend much from it, Fei Yu said with some regret. He had obtained this half of the secret bone for quite some time, but he didn't manage to comprehend much from it. Therefore, when he was surrounded by Pai Yuan and Lai Diao that day, although he knew that the secret bone was of mysterious origin and was a great treasure, he could only give it to Du Xiaofu as a way to escape. He thought that it wouldn't be too late to take it back next time. It was much better than letting it fall into the hands of Pai Yuan and Lai Diao. You didn't comprehend it? The mantis ape was astonished. It hadn't comprehended anything yet, but the Fei Yu had broken through so quickly. Du Xiaofu seemed rather surprised as well. He originally thought that Fei Yu should have some understanding of this half of the bone, but he never imagined that Fei Yu was unable to comprehend anything from this half of the bone. Fei Yu's pale face revealed a trace of a bitter smile. He shook his head and said to Zhong Yuan, Lai Diao and the others, when I obtained this half of the secret bone treasure, I had obtained an ancient inheritance. This half of the secret bone seems to be related to that inheritance. Tell me the details. Du Xiaofu looked at Fei Yu and asked. The blood-soul seal had already been placed on Fei Yu, not holding anything back, telling him everything. Within the heaven burial wasteland, in a mysterious place, the skeleton of an enormous fish was discovered. It was like an enormous island that stretched across the void. It had a pair of wings on its back, and it was covered in mysterious black talisman patterns. The inheritance came from the skeleton of that enormous fish. From the inheritance, Fei Yu learned that the big fish was called Widower Saint. Widower Saint, the mantis ape, Lai Diao, Lai Diao, Lai Diao, and Ice Toad all looked as if they had heard something, but they couldn't recall it immediately. I remember now. Widower Saint, before this world was sealed and before the Qilin race disappeared, this Widower Saint existed, Lai Diao suddenly said, but that was all he knew. He came from before the Dragon Phoenix tribulation. Du Xiaofu was a bit surprised. This Widower Saint actually came from before the Dragon Phoenix tribulation. Before the Dragon Phoenix tribulation, when the Qilins, dragons, and phoenixes reigned supreme, he was already famous. This was enough to prove that Widower Saint was not ordinary. The mantis ape, Lai Diao, and Ice Toad all looked at Fei Yu with envy. No wonder Fei Yu was able to improve so quickly. It turned out that he had obtained an ancient inheritance. Widower Saint was originally an almighty of the fish race. This half of the bone came from Widower Saint's body. According to Widower Saint's inheritance, this half of the bone might have come from beyond the heavens. He spent his entire life comprehending 10 or 20% of it. Fei Yu's eyes were filled with regret as he continued, "A long time has passed, and Widower Saint's inheritance is incomplete." From beyond the heavens, Du Xiaofu was very surprised. This bone came from beyond the heavens. Could there really be a world beyond the heavens in this world? According to the legends, during the tribulation, the lords of 3,000 worlds and the dragon god came to stop it. After that, the lords of the 3,000 worlds and the dragon god left this world. The lords of the 3,000 worlds also said that if fate brought them together, they would fight side by side. Is there really another world outside this world that can break through the heavens? Du Xiaofu pondered. Master, many of the inheritances I obtained should have been comprehended by Widower Saint from this mysterious bone. Perhaps you can learn something from it, Fei Yu said to Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu came back to his senses and nodded. Although he was in a hurry to go to Burial Sky Deathland, he was in the ancient desolate space. He did not lack time. He then said to the mantis ape, ice toad, and ground wolf, "You guys can study it together." The mantis ape, ground wolf, ardent eagle, and ice toad were pleasantly surprised. Then, in the ancient desolate space, Fei Yu deduced what he had obtained from the inheritance. Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Qing Wan, and Xiao Qing also studied it together with the mantis ape and the others. Walala, mysterious black runes rushed out from Fei Yu's body and filled the ancient desolate space as if they were alive. They were growing, arranging, and deducing. The sound of wind and thunder resounding. In the end, these mysterious runes seemed to be tearing apart the void in the desolate ancient space. They emitted a black light and lined up together. Finally, they took shape in the void and condensed into a huge black fish. This fish was filled with supreme qi as if it was alive. Its eyes were like two suns, looking down on all living beings. It was incomparably majestic. Rumble, this fish was too terrifying. It was comparable to a true dragon. When it spread its wings, it was like a great rock that could cover the void. It was like the clouds in the sky. This is the supreme beast energy. It contains profound mysteries. If we can comprehend it, it will definitely be a great opportunity. Dai Xingyu said in astonishment. This fish was actually so terrifying. The aura it exuded was comparable to that of a true dragon or phoenix. At this moment, Du Xiaofu was also astonished. This widower saint was truly terrifying. The aura on his body was somewhat similar to that of a great rock. One was a great rock from the 9 heavens, the other was a great fish from the sea. However, there was an invisible connection between them. Rumble, the mysterious runes shuttled back and forth in the void. It was like a huge fish bobbing up and down in the boundless sea. It was shocking to the extreme. Immediately, everyone was astonished. This was the manifestation of a supreme beast energy. The mantis ape, ground wolf, and the others all sat down cross-legged to carefully comprehend. Even the blue Luan and little blue were no exception. Du Xiaofu was also stunned. This was a true supreme beast energy. This fish was definitely not ordinary. No wonder Widower Saint could leave his name in the ancient desolate era when the Qilins, true dragons, and phoenixes reigned supreme. Gradually, Du Xiaofu stood there calmly. He had entered a certain ethereal state and was comprehending the various transformations of the huge fish. Du Xiaofu continued to comprehend. Occasionally, he would condense hand seals in his hands. It was as if he was evolving and imitating. Even as his hand seals condensed, black mysterious runes appeared. Just like this, time slowly passed. After a period of time, Du Xiaofu did not make any movements. It was as if he had been petrified and had sunk into a deeper level of comprehension. The manifestation of the flying fish had ended. He sat down cross-legged and began to heal his injuries. The mantis ape, ground wolf, and the others all closed their eyes to the side. Only Du Xiaofu was still standing and comprehending everything. It was as if he had appeared in a vast sea. Countless mysterious runes danced in the air and transformed into a huge fish. It stirred up monstrous waves in the sea. It rose and fell, shuttled back and forth like a rock striking the sky. This was the manifestation of a supreme beast energy. Above the sea, heavenly sounds resounded like thunder. An ancient aura appeared, as if it contained many profound mysteries. It emitted the sound of wind and thunder. This kind of scene was very frightening and shocking. That huge fish struck the sky in the boundless sea, as if it was about to fly away. Those astonishing eyes seemed to contain the endless flow of time. In the blink of an eye, the sea turned into mulberry fields and the sun and moon sank. Du Xiaofu pursued the endless path of the strong. He forgot everything in his comprehension, just like when he was comprehending the ancient stone tablet in front of the Du family's gate. There was enough time in the ancient desolate space. After an unknown amount of time, the mantis ape, ground wolf, Qing Wan, little Qing, and Ouyang Shuang had all awakened from their comprehension. However, Du Xiaofu showed no signs of waking up. The space between his brows emitted a silver-gold radiance, projecting into the void in front of him. It was very profound. In the end, Du Xiaofu's entire body was suffused with light. Faint black mysterious runes actually appeared. These mysterious runes changed and evolved. They revolved around Du Xiaofu's body like a huge black vortex. Walala, within the black vortex, the sound of waves could be heard. There was also the sound of wind and thunder. In the end, it shuttled back and forth on the surface of Du Xiaofu's body. Faintly, the image of a huge black fish appeared around Du Xiaofu's body. This is too abnormal. He actually comprehended it so quickly? The mantis ape and ground wolf were stupefied. They also had some gains, but at this moment, it was very clear that under the same comprehension, Du Xiaofu's gains were like heaven and earth compared to theirs. Master really didn't comprehend the widower saint's inheritance? The flying fish was very doubtful. He was the clearest about how much Du Xiaofu had comprehended at this moment. He was horrified. The black radiance was dazzling. The mysterious runes interweaved and emitted black light. Strands of black light lingered around Du Xiaofu's body. In the end, they condensed into the image of a huge black fish. This evolution and transformation gradually emitted a supreme aura that shuttled back and forth around Du Xiaofu's body. In the end, Du Xiaofu's entire person seemed to have turned into a huge black fish. He wanted to submit to the boundless sea and rush into the depths of the sea, submerging into the boundless sea. Black mysterious runes continued to appear in the void. They connected with Du Xiaofu and emitted a resplendent black light. Apologies, everyone. I've been hospitalized for 4 days. I can only write on my sickbed today. Apologies. Chapter 2361. Just like that, Du Xiaofu completely immersed himself in comprehending the mysteries of the black fish, forgetting everything else. In the outside world, the news of the commotion in the sky burial wasteland had already spread out. Experts from various forces were heading over. Many living beings had already gathered at the periphery of the sky burial wasteland. The appearance of various forces had also caused a lot of disputes. Human tribe against human tribe, beast tribe against beast tribe, everyone was fighting for the treasures. This secret bone is mine. In the mountains, a beast roared like thunder. A flood dragon soared into the sky, fighting with a golden eagle for a secret bone. However, the golden eagle was powerful. Its entire body was resplendent, and it unleashed a powerful aura. It actually sent the flood dragon flying and snatched the secret bone. It flapped its wings and flew away. Fight! In the canyon, there were experts clad in armor. They were fighting a group of experts, causing blood to flow in the sky. They were fighting for the inheritance. Suddenly, many treasures appeared in the periphery of the sky burial wasteland, causing experts from various forces to fight for them. Everyone's eyes were red with killing intent. All the creatures understood that as long as they could comprehend the treasures in the sky burial wasteland, they could quickly become experts. This was a huge opportunity, and no one wanted to miss it. At this time, something major happened in the sky burial wasteland. The news of creatures from the outside world entering the wasteland had spread, startling all the creatures in the wasteland. It said that creatures from the outside world entered in ancient times. They were all very strong, and they had once fought with the saints of our human race. There are other lands outside our world, and there are also humans and beasts there. It said that the rock emperor who left his name in the temple and was recognized by the human emperor's seal came from the outside world. There are also many creatures from the outside world nearby. They are very strong, and they are also fighting for treasures. Where did these people from the outside come from? Can we get out too? It said that there are great restrictions. There are cracks in some places, and creatures from the outside world can enter after finding the entrance. However, if we go out, there are great restrictions. The news of creatures from the outside world entering the sky burial wasteland was no longer a secret. It had spread everywhere. Back then, the guy who caused trouble in our beast alliance and killed many experts was said to be from the outside world. Be careful of the creatures from the outside world. In this fearsome land, whether it was the human race or the beast race, they all held some hostility towards the outside creatures. At the very least, they were very wary of them. A few treasures appeared, triggering a fight over them. Many experts took action, and intense battles broke out everywhere. Shouts of killing rushed into the heavens, making the place seethe. Around the sky burial deathland, many people had already died. It was extremely tragic. Rumor had it that Saint Realm cultivators had already appeared. The treasures that have appeared in the heaven burial deathland this time around are truly extraordinary. We are only at the outer perimeter, and there are already so many of them. Seems like the depths of the heaven burial deathland must be a den of dragons and tigers. It will be even more dangerous. An old man spoke out, sensing the dangerous aura. Some of the top experts also had solemn expressions, not daring to be careless. Within the desolate ancient space, Du Xiaofu was still standing. Around him, the giant fish condensed from black talisman runes floated up and down. A supreme aura pervaded the air, suppressing everything. Du Xiaofu was completely immersed in comprehending everything. At this moment, it was as though he had returned to the primordial era, traveling freely in the depths of the sea region. Boom! The sea region exploded as the giant fish crossed the sea, smashing apart one island after another, scattering debris into the boundless sea region. The flood dragon roared, shaking the sky as it tried to avoid the black fish. This is impossible, impossible. The flying fish was shocked. It could feel how deep Du Xiaofu's comprehension was at this moment. It was already above it. What a terrifying beast energy. Is this Widower Saint's true body? The ape, earth wolf, ice toad, and Arden Eagle were also deeply shaken. They could also feel the terrifying pressure brought about by the black fish. This was the supreme beast energy of the beast race. At a certain moment, the black fish disappeared from Du Xiaofu's body. The black talisman runes disappeared one by one. Du Xiaofu finally woke up from that mysterious state. Huff! Exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, Du Xiaofu opened his eyes. The image of the black fish dissipated in his eyes as if it had entered the depths of his golden eyes. Supreme beast energy, very strong. It's not much weaker than the golden-winged pengbird race. Du Xiaofu was also quite surprised. That black fish was a supreme beast energy, comparable to the dragons and phoenixes. It was very shocking. How is it? Ouyang Shuang came forward. She had also carefully studied that half of the bone before, but she didn't gain anything. I'll study it later when I have time. Du Xiaofu shook his head at Ouyang Shuang. If Widower Saint had also obtained this half of the bone before rising, then this half of the bone was much more precious than he had imagined. More than half a month had passed in the desolate space. Although less than 2 days had passed in the outside world, there were already movements in the burial deathland. Experts from all sides were heading there. It was possible that all the people from the desolate country who entered this dangerous place would arrive. Du Xiaofu didn't dare to delay. Letting the ground wolf, Lai Diao, and the others continue to heal in the desolate space, Du Xiaofu took Ouyang Shuang, Qing Luan, Dai Xingyu, and Zhong Yuan out of the desolate space and continued in the direction of the burial deathland. Zhong Yuan was more familiar with the burial deathland, and his injuries were no longer a problem. Du Xiaofu needed someone who knew more about the burial deathland than he did. Rumor has it that in the primordial times, almost all the top experts in the world perished in the burial heaven wasteland. Therefore, the burial heaven wasteland is filled with endless dangers and opportunities. Since ancient times, Saint Realm cultivators have never been able to escape from the burial heaven wasteland. They could even be easily killed. Along the way, the demonic ape told Du Xiaofu everything he knew about the burial heaven wasteland. Du Xiaofu guessed that the burial deathland was related to the dragons and phoenixes' tribulation. Even in the outside world, there were rumors that the Qilin clan had disappeared during the dragons and phoenixes clan had suffered heavy losses during the dragons and phoenixes clan. It seemed that there was a great opportunity there. Zhong Yuan followed Du Xiaofu and continued, with great dangers, there will naturally be great opportunities as well. It is not too strange for sacred artifacts of the primordial era to appear in the burial deathland. Many supreme beasts have appeared in the past as well. The blood essence of true dragons and true phoenixes is not just a legend. It is even rumored that there are supreme sacred medicines in there. Taking them can allow one's cultivation to rise by one or even several levels. Misfortune and fortune coexist. Sacred artifacts, blood essence of true dragons and true phoenixes, supreme sacred medicines. Du Xiaofu exclaimed in surprise. With these treasures, it was probably enough to make everyone fearlessly charge into the heaven burial deathland and risk their lives for it. Such temptation was simply irresistible. No cultivator could refuse any of these treasures. Supreme sacred medicines. As for Du Xiaofu, he was more interested in the supreme sacred medicines. They could allow a Saint Realm cultivator's cultivation to rise by one or even several levels. These were definitely heaven-defying treasures. Zhong Yuan looked at Du Xiaofu's face, which was secretly burning with passion, and said, "Master, the most desirable thing in the burial deathland is the greatest secret in the world." Du Xiaofu raised his eyes. Not long ago, Zhong Yuan had mentioned that the greatest secret in the world was buried in the burial deathland. Once it was revealed, it would shake the world. There was no such thing as a groundless rumor in the world. The ancient emperor had also said that the burial deathland was the most mysterious place in the ominous grounds. Du Xiaofu guessed that the burial deathland was not simple. It must have buried a great secret. It seems that the burial deathland is extremely mysterious. Ouyang Shuang said softly, "If the burial deathland is related to the dragon phoenix tribulation, then many ancient experts must have fallen there. Therefore, the burial deathland must also contain the inheritance of an ancient expert. If you can obtain the inheritance of an ancient expert, it will be much more powerful than ordinary inheritance." Inheritance of an ancient expert. Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered. The sky-slashing 3 swords that he had obtained were also from an ancient expert. The burial sky wasteland once buried an entire world and buried the greatest secret of this world. Since ancient times, there have only been 2 major disturbances. However, each time, countless experts have entered the burial sky wasteland, but no one has discovered the secret. Whether this is true or not, no one knows. However, the inheritances of ancient experts and the blood essences of true dragons and true phoenixes do exist. Someone has long since obtained them. The demonic ape told Du Xiaofu. "That's right. Burial deathland, I hope I can gain something." Du Xiaofu smiled. No matter what, he had to make a trip to the burial deathland. It would be better if he could obtain some opportunities. The experts of the Beast Alliance and the human race in the ominous grounds will all enter such a place. Be careful, Ouyang Shuang said and looked at Du Xiaofu seriously. Not to mention the school of vertical and horizontal, dragons, legalism, famous people, and devil religion who had entered the ominous grounds, Du Xiaofu already had many enemies in the human race and the Beast Alliance. He might encounter them in the burial deathland. "I will." Du Xiaofu shrugged his shoulders and the corners of his mouth curved into a smile. He had already expected that there would be Sage Realm cultivators from all over the world. However, he was not a pushover at this moment, especially those from the Legalism sect, School of Vertical and Horizontal, the famous clan, the Dragon Tribe, and the Devil sect. Those ancient experts from the Eternal Tomb were unable to enter this perilous place. If he were to encounter those from the Devil sect, the famous clan, and the School of Vertical and Horizontal, he would be able to slaughter them even if he did not obtain any opportunities in this perilous place. With his current cultivation and strength, he did not need to worry about those Sage Realm cultivators from the Devil sect, the famous clan, and the Devil sect. Of course, Du Xiaofu did not dare to be careless. At the very least, there were many terrifying experts in the human tribe and beast alliance in this fearsome ground. Even if it was just Lei Yang, Du Xiaofu would have to go all out to fight against him. There were probably many experts in the human tribe and beast alliance who were stronger than Lei Yang. The burial deathland is boundless. I heard that no one has reached the end. Master, you must be careful. The blood soul seal had been placed on the nightmare ape and he was extremely loyal. Okay. Du Xiaofu nodded slightly. The group traveled through the air. Along the way, no living creatures dared to come near and cause trouble. Du Xiaofu was rather looking forward to it. He hadn't seen Little Xingxing, Little Demon Du, Drunkard Father, Little Demon Du, 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 and the others. However, Du Xiaoqing and Little Tiger were with the Baifeng Divine Birds and the Dark Heavenly Tigers. Du Xiaofu guessed that perhaps Little Green and Little Tiger did not obtain any benefits in the burial deathland. It was a pity. However, the benefits that they obtained from the Baifeng Divine Birds and the Dark Heavenly Tigers were great enough. The burial deathland was located in the east of the ancient wilderness ominous grounds. There were endless abysses and mountains. The vast and boundless sky was gray like chaos. It was as if this was the end of the world. Everywhere was bleak and silent. The sky was dark and the ground was dry. It was like a land of death. Rumble, however, recently, there was a commotion in the originally peaceful land of death. There were ancient talisman runes that emitted light. From time to time, there were sounds coming from the depths of the land. In particular, there was a huge spatial hole in the depths of the land. It was like a spatial black hole. The spatial ripples in the hole rotated like a huge tornado, as if it was going to devour the space. An ancient aura that had existed since ancient times spread out. It was majestic and terrifying. It was filled with a terrifying murderous aura. It made it impossible for cultivators below the honorable realm to get close. Even Saint Realm cultivators did not dare to be careless. In the depths of the land of death, astral winds howled like a tsunami. It lasted for a very long time. Waves of spatial ripples rolled over and over. In the entire area, only experts dared to enter. Ordinary creatures didn't dare to come close to this area. In the distant sky, on a dark mountain peak, many figures landed on the highest rock. Amitabha, there were Buddhist chants in the sky. Many of these figures had powerful auras. The one in the lead was an old monk. His Saint Realm aura was not hidden much. It was the old monk from the Buddhist clan. Beside him were Heng Luan and Ninefold Spirit. This is the place. I hope we can get something this time. The old monk in the lead said. His eyes fluctuated with golden light. Then the group entered the land of death. Whoosh! Not long after, above the void, a blazing aura descended. Many figures appeared above the void. Waves of beast sovereign aura spread out and solidified the void. If Du Xiaofu was here at this moment, he would certainly be happy. The ones who came were Saint Feng Qi of the Phoenix clan. Huang Linger, Feng Han, Feng Chu, Feng Wu, and other experts of the Phoenix clan. The most important one was Zi Xian. What a strong murderous aura. Looking at the sky, Zi Xian's eyes were like purple suns. It was as if she could see through everything in the world. At this moment, Zi Xian was in the sky. The aura on her body seemed to be a little different. Compared to when she entered the land of death, It was much stronger. Her purple robe fluttered in the air. Purple flames were flickering, outlining her seductive figure. Huang Wu, Huang Ling, Feng Han, and Feng Chu stood in unison as they gazed at the shocking commotion in the distance. It was like an enormous primeval ferocious beast had awakened, and it intended to devour and slaughter everything in the world. There are too many things buried here. Our ancestors of the Phoenix clan also entered this land of death for the sake of the sky burial wasteland. The greatest secret of the Phoenix clan is inside, Saint Feng Chi said. His expression was solemn and dignified. Looking at the terrifying aura in front of him, even with his cultivation, he felt deeply frightened. Are the rumors true? Feng Wu's fiery eyes flashed with some doubt. No matter what, we have to go into the sky burial wasteland. Feng Chu's eyes were filled with anticipation. Zi Xian, Feng Han, Feng Chu, Feng Wu, Feng Ling, our ancestors have failed the previous 2 times. I hope that you can succeed this time. This time, the clan took the risk to let you in because we hope that you can obtain the greatest secret of our Phoenix clan. According to our ancestors' experience, you are young and have outstanding talent. Therefore, your chances are the greatest. The great calamity in the outside world is about to arrive. If you fail this time, then everything will be troublesome. Saint Feng Chi looked at Zi Xian, Feng Han and the others and said. Zi Xian, Huang Linger, Feng Han and the others nodded. When you enter this land of death, you don't need to look for other opportunities. You only need to follow the aura and head straight to the place left behind by my clan. Obtaining the greatest secret of my clan is much better than any other opportunities. If you can successfully obtain the greatest secret of my clan, I'm afraid that when the time comes, even the great Rock Emperor will have to avoid you. Saint Feng Chi's eyes were filled with anticipation. It was the legend of the Phoenix clan, the greatest opportunity of the Phoenix clan. The previous 2 times when cracks appeared in the ancient desolate wasteland, some of their ancestors had entered, but they didn't succeed. Their efforts were in vain. Now, they could only place their hopes on these few outstanding juniors. If we can obtain the inheritance left behind by our clan, I wonder how we will compare to Du Xiaofu. Young Feng's eyes flashed with fighting spirit. Even when facing the combined attacks of Du Xiaofu, Little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, Moksha, Jialo Juelyao and the others of the same generation, he never lost his fighting spirit and confidence. Instead, he continued to cultivate bitterly. His mental fortitude was far from what an ordinary person could compare with. The greatest secret of their clan in the sky burial wasteland increased his fighting spirit. Saint Feng Chi's gaze shifted as he looked at Chick Feng. Then he smiled and said, under normal circumstances, if all of you are able to obtain the items left behind by the clan buried in this land of death, no one in the same generation will be a match for you. However, Saint Feng Chi paused for a moment. Then his smile turned into a bitter one. However, the Rock Emperor, the Spirit Lord and Du Xiaoyao are outliers. As for the outcome, I don't know. Right now, the most important thing is for you to obtain the secret of our clan buried in this wasteland. Whoosh, whoosh, the sound of wind breaking resounded. Soon after, the experts of the Phoenix clan disappeared from the wasteland. In the dusky canyon, the sky was dark. Strong winds whistled at the entrance of the canyon, causing the earth to tremble and the mountains to shake. Chapter 2362. There was more than one entrance to the burial wasteland. This canyon was one of the entrances. Astral winds howled and surging murderous aura swept over and slammed into the canyon. It was as if the murderous aura was about to destroy the canyon. The impact caused the ground to rumble continuously. This commotion isn't ordinary. Many figures were standing at the entrance of the canyon. Among them were Long Chenchao, Yusu from the Demon Vulture tribe, Shiyu from the Sky Serpent tribe, Lion Hongtu from the Red Fire Demon Lion tribe, Su Sanyan from the School of Vertical and Horizontal, Hui Wu from the famous clan and many others. Almost everyone is here. Let's get ready to enter, Su Sanyan said as he stared at the entrance. There are endless opportunities in the burial wasteland. If we can get a great opportunity, we might be able to suppress Du Xiaofu again. Hui Wu's eyes were filled with anticipation. Of course, how can the little bastard compare to the foundation of the dragons? Wait until we get what our tribe left behind. That little bastard will be nothing. Long Qianchao said as his eyes were filled with murderous intent. I heard that the little bastard has been to the Beast Alliance and the human race. They will definitely come to the burial wasteland. We have to be careful. Su Sanyan said as his eyes narrowed. He knew Du Xiaofu's current strength. If the ancient experts from the Eternal Tomb could not enter, they would not be able to do anything to him. I've received news that the Beast Alliance and the human race will not let that little bastard go. Let's not separate. As long as we find the place left behind by the dragons in the wasteland, that little bastard will be dead. Long Qianchao said. Chi. Above the dark void, dozens of figures suddenly appeared in midair. A majestic aura spread out and descended on the square. The first was a beautiful figure. Her figure was graceful and her fiery red hair slanted to her soft and slender waist. Together with her perky bottom, it formed an incomparably sexy arc. The woman appeared in midair and stood in midair. Her eyes were dazzling. It was Xiao Yao from the Overlord Python tribe. Miss, the Howling Heavens Lion clan is here too. Beside Xiao Yao was an old woman. Her face was old, but her body was very curvy. She did not look old and her eyes were bright. She looked at the space not far away. Walala, the tranquil space in front of him started to tremble violently. Immediately after, dozens of silhouettes appeared in the sky, each of them exuding a terrifying aura. Faintly, the roars of lions could be heard, filling the air. Following the appearance of these dozens of figures, many bright gazes instantly focused on this side. Beside the few elders at the front, there was a boorish young man with the temperament of a lion. He stared into the void with a slight smirk and a cold battle intent surged from his eyes. This young man had an arrogant aura. As he appeared, the surrounding space trembled. It was Xiao Gu. The Overlord Python clan came early. An elder in front of the group of experts smiled when he saw Xiao Yao and the others. The Howling Heavens Lion clan is not late either. The old woman said indifferently. The Overlord Python clan's position in the Beast Alliance was slightly higher than the Howling Heavens Lion clan. All of you came early. Such a voice sounded from the void again. Space ripples flashed in midair again. Just as the voice sounded, dozens of silhouettes appeared out of nowhere and stood in midair. As these silhouettes appeared, a blazing aura suddenly rose rapidly. It was as if there was a fire, and the space ripples carried a faint fiery red color. The one in front was a red-haired elder. He was wearing a loose robe that covered his skinny body. He was Elder Jiao Xie from the Baifeng Divine Bird clan. Beside Elder Jiao Xie, a muscular figure was also retreating. His dark green hair reached his shoulders, and he had a strong build. Flames filled the void under his feet, and his eyes surged with green and red light like a volcano. He was Jiao Xie, who was ranked higher than Xiao Yao and Xiao Gu in the younger generation of the Beast Alliance. At this moment, the most eye-catching person was a red-robed young man. His red robe was embroidered with flame patterns. His body was strong and slender, and his eyes were like stars. He exuded an arrogant aura and had an extraordinary temperament. Qi Yan, if it wasn't for Luo Huang's trick, we wouldn't have one. Xiao Yao looked at the red-robed young man with some regret. Not long ago, Qi Yan had lost to Luo Shang and lost the position of commander. Otherwise, he would have been the master of all beasts and the sovereign of the beast clan. However, at this moment, no one dared to underestimate Qi Yan. Everyone knew that Luo Shang had won because she had gained a lot of advantages. Otherwise, Qi Yan would have been the best choice for commander. It's Elder Jiao Xie. Seeing that Elder Jiao Xie had come, the old lady and the elder from the roaring heavenly demon lion clan were extremely polite. There should be many people who have already entered. Let's go in too. It's dangerous inside, so be careful, Jiao Xie said. Elder Jiao Xie, you can wait for me. Following a hearty laugh, a spatial ripple flashed as the voice sounded. Once again, dozens of figures descended, bringing with them waves of powerful ripples. The one who spoke was an old man with a head full of white hair and a ruddy complexion. Behind the old man was a black-clothed young man. He appeared to be around 30 years old. His slightly tight black clothes completely revealed his perfect figure. His jet-black long hair was draped over his shoulders. On his dignified face was a pair of clear bright eyes that emitted a suffocating aura. His black-clothed long robe fluttered slightly. He was just like a human-shaped ferocious tiger that was about to pounce. This young man was the leader of the younger generation of the Dark Heavenly Tiger clan, Hu Pao. Elder Hu Pao. Elder Jiao Xie nodded. Hu Pao, Qi Yan, Jiao Xie, and the rest of the younger generation also nodded. I've received news that many major clans of the human race have entered the Deathtrap grounds, Elder Hu Pao said. The human race. As Elder Hu Pao's voice fell, the experts from the beast race raised their eyebrows. Over the years, the human race was no longer the same as before. They had vaguely reached the stage where they could contend with the Beast Alliance. Then we have to hurry up. Let's go in first, Elder Jiao Xie said. This time, if the human race obtained more opportunities in the Heaven Burial Deathtrap, they would become stronger and stronger. He had no choice but to stop them. Master, the entrance to the Heaven Burial Deathtrap is just ahead. In the void, Zhong Yuan said to Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu lifted his eyes and looked into the distance. There were gales constantly spreading like a storm, accompanied by a murderous aura. This murderous aura gave Du Xiaofu a sense of déjà vu. It's a strange place, Yang Shuang said as though she had sensed something. There are quite a number of living beings here too. Du Xiaofu probed with his mind. There were many living beings in the surroundings and most of them were at the domain realm or above. With such cultivation, they would be considered top-notch experts regardless of whether they were in the outside world or in the Deathtrap grounds. This went to show how tempting the Heaven Burial Deathtrap was. These people are here to search for opportunities. Basically, they are nothing to worry about. Our real competitors are the major clans of the human race and the major clans of the Beast Alliance, Zhong Yuan said. The demonic ape said as he swept his gaze across the surroundings. Although some of the living beings in the surroundings were not weak, he knew that these living beings did not pose much of a threat to them. Du Xiaofu nodded slightly. Along the way, they had met quite a number of teams. But in general, they hadn't met any threatening teams. He reckoned that the major forces of the human race and the Beast Alliance must have entered the Heaven Burial Deathtrap while he was delayed. I wonder if anyone from the desolate country has entered the Heaven Burial Deathtrap. Du Xiaofu looked into the distance as this thought flashed across his mind. Then he waved his hand and led the group into the sky. With their current speed, they soon arrived at the entrance of the Heaven Burial Deathtrap. The entrance was a vast plain that was dark and gloomy. Strong winds howled and an ancient aura filled the air. Especially when the murderous aura spread out, ordinary domain realm cultivators wouldn't dare to get too close. Du Xiaofu stood in the void at the entrance of the plains as he stared intently into the depths. In the depths of the dusky plains, a terrifying murderous aura permeated the air. Moreover, there was a terrifying invisible aura that caused the void to distort. This place is really special. We have to be careful. Du Xiaofu reminded everyone around him. Even with his current cultivation, he could sense a faint sense of danger from the entrance of the Heaven Burial Deathtrap. The Heaven Burial Deathtrap has become active and it's extremely dangerous inside. Although it had never entered the burial wasteland before, it had heard that the burial wasteland was a perilous place to begin with. Even Saint Realm cultivators would die if they encountered such a perilous place. It was rumored that the burial wasteland's perilous environment had multiplied the danger after the burial wasteland began to stir. Du Xiaofu nodded slightly. The profound qi in his body surged as he wrapped Yang Shuang and the others in his mind to protect them. He reminded everyone to be careful. Rumble! At this moment, a rumbling sound suddenly resounded in the plains in front of them. The entire plains trembled incessantly in midair. Astral winds whistled, and layers of terrifying air waves rose like stormy waves. Du Xiaofu and the others watched as the depths of the plain in front of them collapsed. A majestic murderous aura rushed out and shattered the space inch by inch, revealing a pitch-black void. It was as if the heavens and earth were falling apart and the world was coming to an end. Under such a powerful aura, the experts in front of the plane could not help but take a few steps back. No one wanted to be swept up by such a terrifying aura. Something must have happened up ahead. It's possible that a precious treasure has appeared. Exclamations of surprise rang out. Everyone's burning gazes immediately focused on the Heaven Burial Death Trap in front of them. The Heaven Burial Wasteland contained a shocking amount of treasures that all living beings yearned for even in their dreams. Whoosh whoosh. Immediately, some living beings leaped into the air and turned into streams of light that shot into the Heaven Burial Death Trap's entrance. Du Xiaofu stared at the figures that shot out rapidly. His brows twitched slightly. It was a pity that he did not see his enemies. If he had encountered the school of vertical and horizontal, the devil religion, the Yu family, or the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan, he could have dealt with them first. After all, this enmity could not be resolved. Brother Xiaofu, should we go in? Dai Xingyu asked Du Xiaofu when he saw that many living beings and experts had already rushed into the Heaven Burial Death Trap. Du Xiaofu nodded slightly. He probed with his mind and sensed that the living beings in front of them were not in any danger. Then, he led the group into the Heaven Burial Death Trap. Inside the Heaven Burial Death Trap, murderous aura filled the air. Dark red mist lingered and everywhere was dark. It was as if the heavens and earth had just been created. However, there were differences. When the heavens and earth had just been created, it should have been filled with life. However, this place was filled with dead ashes and life was dim. This aura is very strange. It's filled with murderous aura. After entering the Heaven Burial Death Trap, Dai Xingyu frowned. She did not dare to be careless. The aura that filled the air made her feel uncomfortable. Du Xiaofu looked around. This dark space was extremely vast. There was an invisible aura that could affect one's mind. The space here is incomparably vast. No one knows exactly how big it is. This Heaven's Burial Deathland can be considered the most mysterious and bizarre place here. Pai Yuan looked at Du Xiaofu and said, Sister Xingyu, Brother Xiaofu, I seem to have sensed something. Qing Wan Xiaoqing, who had been silent all this while, spoke. She looked to the side and a green light began to fluctuate in her eyes. Sizzle. Immediately after, Qing Wan and little Qing formed hand seals in their hands. Strands of flame talisman patterns seemed to be connected to this space. Immediately, light spread out. Blazing cyan flames fluctuated, bringing along blazing talisman patterns that appeared, fluctuating with an ancient aura. There seems to be some reaction. Seeing this, Du Xiaofu's eyes lit up. Qing Wan Xiaoqing seemed to have sensed something. It's over there. I can sense the aura of my clan. Qing Wan Xiaoqing said seriously. Green flames danced in her eyes. This connection that came from her bloodline should not be wrong. Let's go and take a look. Du Xiaofu hesitated for a moment and decided to follow the aura that Qing Wan Xiaoqing sensed. Qing Wan Xiaoqing could sense the aura of her clan. There should be no mistake. Perhaps there would be some gains. Swish, swish. Several people rose into the air and flew in the dark space. They did not dare to be careless. Du Xiaofu released his mind. Although there was an invisible aura in this space that could block the power of the primordial spirit, it was not to the extent where it could be completely blocked. The stronger the power of the primordial spirit, the greater the area that could be seen. Everyone be careful. This is not a friendly place. In a dimly lit valley in the burial wasteland, Sun Qin's bright eyes stared ahead vigilantly. Her mind was even more cautious as she spied on the surrounding space. All disciples, be careful. There are opportunities and great dangers in here. Sun Wu's eyes narrowed as he reminded the disciples of the Sun family, also be careful of the people from the Beast Alliance. There will be a huge battle with the Beast Alliance sooner or later. If we encounter the people from the Beast Alliance here, don't hold back if you can. Yes. The experts of the Sun family nodded. Previously, the experts from the Beast Alliance actually attacked outside the sacred city. This was a blatant provocation. During this period of time, the human race and the beast alliance had reached a state of mutual hostility. Everyone knew that if it were not for the commotion in the burial wasteland, a huge battle would have begun. Now that both parties were in the burial wasteland, no one would hold back if they had the chance to meet. Be careful. Suddenly, just as the Sun family's people finished speaking, Sun Qin suddenly shouted, and her beautiful figure instantly disappeared on the spot. However, Sun Qin's speed seemed to be one step slower. Behind a middle-aged man of the Sun family, in the dusky void, a dazzling stream of light suddenly pierced through the void and swept across the middle-aged man's head like lightning. It directly pierced through the middle-aged man's head, causing red and white matter to scatter all over the ground. Another stream of light appeared and pierced through the void. It suddenly appeared in front of a young man of the Sun family in an eerie manner. Swish! Sun Qin made her move. The mysterious patterns on the talisman in her hand fluctuated, and a fingerprint pierced through the void and landed on the stream of light. A crisp and muffled sound was heard. The stream of light was shattered and shattered into a black mist. Everyone be careful. Defend. Sun Wu's eyes turned ugly. In the blink of an eye, a Sun family expert had perished. Rumble. As soon as Sun Wu's voice fell, the entire ground shook. The surrounding ground trembled and the mountains swayed as though there was an earthquake. Numerous streams of light appeared in the void. This is bad. We have barged into a dangerous place. Sun Qin's expression changed drastically. She set up a celestial qi defense ring around her. An ancient aura filled the air as her eyes turned grave. Swish swish, Qing Wan Shao Qing followed the aura of her clan that she sensed. Following the guidance of the invisible aura in her bloodline, she brought Du Xiaofu and the others forward. They passed through many mountain ranges, and their speed was affected quite a bit. Therefore, after a full 4 hours, everyone arrived at a continuous mountain range. Within the mountain range, there were towering peaks and winding canyons. The surroundings were surrounded by dark red clouds as if they were dyed red by residual blood. It's here. Qing Wanshao Qing said softly. The aura she sensed was here. There doesn't seem to be anything special. Du Xiaofu probed with his mind. There was no abnormality in the aura of this place, nor were there any anomalies. The space inside seemed to have no day or night. There was a void and a dusky pale color everywhere. It was like a world that was really buried here. Secretly using the power of the scarlet demonic horse bloodline soul primordial spirit, Du Xiaofu still did not gain anything. He could not sense any abnormalities. Qing Wan Shao Qing's beautiful figure flashed. Her eyes emitted the light of green flames as she appeared above a canyon in front. The canyon was vast. On both sides were bottomless abysses. Below was endless black fog. It was a vast expanse. Even if one formed a primordial spirit, they would not be able to see what was below. Swish swish. Ouyang Shuang, Du Xiaofu, Zhong Yuan, and Dai Xingyu appeared above the canyon. They stood beside Qing Wan Shao Qing and stared at the black fog below. However, they were also unable to see through it. It's the aura below. Qing Wan Shao Qing's eyes moved slightly. She raised her head and said to Du Xiaofu and Dai Xingyu, "Are you sure?" Du Xiaofu did not sense anything at this moment. The scarlet demonic horse bloodline soul primordial spirit also did not gain anything. He could not help but be somewhat suspicious. There should be no mistake. This aura is related to my Qing Wan clan. Qing Wan Shao Qing stared at the vast abyss below. The aura that came from there made her feel that it was connected to her bloodline. Then let's go down and take a look. Du Xiaofu nodded. Although he did not sense anything unusual, he also believed that Qing Wan Shao Qing's senses should not be wrong. Perhaps they would gain something. There might be danger. I am still unable to be sure. Everyone be careful. Qing Wan Shao Qing said. She really wanted to know what exactly was in the abyss that made her feel connected to it. However, she also faintly felt that there was a kind of danger accompanying it. Everyone nodded. Then, several figures flashed and immediately jumped into the abyss. Just in case, Du Xiaofu's Xian Qi surged in his body. He was prepared to protect everyone. In this abyss, there was a vast expanse of fog. The deeper they went, the more a faint blazing aura spread. They did not know how long they had been sinking. The blazing aura became denser and denser. However, the degree of the blazing aura did not have much of an effect on everyone. Du Xiaofu looked around nervously and slowly descended. He did not dare to be too hasty. Everyone estimated that they had sunk at least a few thousand feet before they landed on the ground. They did not know how this abyss was formed. At this moment, everyone carefully looked around. The bottom of this abyss was like the core of the earth. There was a gloomy and eerie aura everywhere. It made one's heart tremble. Seems like it's here. Qing Wan Shaoqing looked around the abyss and increasingly felt the density of the aura. At this moment, everyone was at the bottom of the abyss. It was a vast underground valley. The valley was extremely flat and there were strange rocks on both sides of the abyss. Above, there was a thick and strange cloud and mist, shrouding this valley even more gloomy and eerie. It was as if they were in the underworld. This doesn't seem to be anything special. Du Xiaofu looked around and used all his mind to look around. However, he did not feel anything special. Qing Wan Shaoqing wandered around nearby twice. On her slightly immature face, there was a slight smile. She said to everyone, "If my guess is correct, there is a nirvana space set up by the Beast Clan experts. And to be able to set up a nirvana space, it seems that only the experts of my Phoenix Clan can do it." Nirvana space? Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows. It was the first time he heard that the Phoenix Clan had such a technique. Dai Xingyu looked at Du Xiaofu and smiled. She said, "Brother Xiaofu, I heard my master mention it once. According to my master, the Phoenix Clan has many innate remarkable abilities. Among them, there is an innate talent for space. However, ordinary Phoenix Clan disciples seem to be unable to control it." "Is that so?" Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and thought of Little Star. That little fellow did seem to have something special about space. Chapter 2363. I've also heard that dragons and phoenixes are the same in that they have many special innate abilities. However, many of these abilities can only be controlled by those with the bloodline of the true dragon. It is rumored that those with the bloodline of the true dragon have many advantages in the primordial spirit, Dai Xingyu said. Dai Xingyu said. She had unintentionally heard her master mention this before. Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows. There was no doubt about little Xingxing's bloodline. That was the bloodline of the Lord Dragon God. Du Xiaofu was not too clear on what advantages that little fellow had in the primordial spirit, but he knew that little fellow seemed to never fear primordial spirit attacks. The Nirvana space is not something that can be set up by ordinary experts of the Phoenix Clan. Normally, one has to at least reach the Saint Beast realm. Even ordinary Saint Beast realm experts of the Phoenix Clan are unable to set it up. Normally, only when the experts of the Phoenix Clan have reached the most important moment of their Nirvana transformation, in order to not let others disturb their remains, they would use their own blood essence and beast soul as a guide to set up this Nirvana space. When a Nirvana space is set up, it is difficult for outsiders to discover its existence, Little Qing said. In that case, there is an expert of the Phoenix Clan who set up a Nirvana space and is in seclusion here? Du Xiaofu asked. If there was really an expert of the Phoenix Clan here, it would not be convenient to disturb them. It is very complicated. If an expert of the Phoenix Clan set up a Nirvana space, it should be difficult for me to detect it. The Azure Phoenix Little Qing shook her head and revealed a bewildered expression as she said, "I even sensed the aura of my Azure Phoenix clan within this rebirth space, and it was precisely the aura of my clan that drew me here." "You mean that there are two auras in this Nirvana space? One is the Nirvana space set up by an expert of the Phoenix Clan, and the other is the aura of your Blue Phoenix Clan?" Du Xiaofu was also puzzled. The Phoenix Clan had 5 clans. It was rumored that the ancestor of the Phoenix Clan had left behind 5 bloodlines. Among the 5 colors, the red one was the main phoenix, the yellow one was the swan ni, the purple one was the swan ni, the green one was the blue luan, and the white one was the swan. Among them, The Swanee belonged to the Purple Flame Demon Phoenix clan, and the Blue Phoenix clan could only be counted as one clan. Therefore, this Nirvana space could be counted as a clan. It's possible. The Azure Phoenix Little Ching nodded. The azure flames in her eyes burned brighter and brighter. She said, I keep feeling that the aura of my Azure Phoenix clan is calling out to me, wanting me to enter. Can this Nirvana space be opened? Du Xiaofu asked Qing Wan and Xiao Qing. I might be able to open it, but once I do, I will disturb the experts of the Phoenix clan who are in seclusion. This is a great disrespect, and the consequences will be severe. Qing Wan Xiao Qing said. However, as she arrived at this place, she increasingly felt the aura of her clan calling out to her. Hearing this, Du Xiaofu stood with his hands in the air and fell into deep thought. After that, Du Xiaofu raised his eyes, and his expression was slightly serious as he asked the Qing Wan Little Qing seriously, Are you sure there's the aura of your Qing Wan clan inside? The Azure Phoenix Little Qing nodded her head affirmatively. She hesitated for a moment, and her tender red lips carried an arc of slight doubt as she said, I also feel that the expert that set up this Nirvana space seems to have a slightly impure bloodline of the Phoenix clan. Otherwise, it would be difficult for me to detect it. Ha, that's even easier. Du Xiaofu clenched his teeth, and the corner of his mouth revealed a slight smile as he said, There are only two outcomes for opening this Nirvana space. One is that Little Qing might be able to obtain an opportunity, and the other is that she will be attacked by the experts of the Phoenix clan who are at the critical moment of her Nirvana transformation. This is the Phoenix clan. Yangshuang's eyes moved a little. If it was the dragons or something, it would not be a problem. However, she had a close relationship with the Phoenix clan. The Phoenix clan might not necessarily be from the outside. If their bloodline is impure, there are many possibilities. Perhaps, Du Xiaofu chuckled, and there was a slight sneer in his eyes. If the Qing Wan felt that the Phoenix clan was impure, that might not be the case. After all, they existed in the Beast Alliance too. Do you want to open this Nirvana space and see if there are any opportunities? Du Xiaofu asked the Qing Wan Little Qing. I'll give it a try. The Qing Wan Little Qing hesitated for a moment, and then looked at Du Xiaofu. There was a malicious smile in her green flame fluctuating eyes, and she said, I can feel some danger in here. This danger seems to be quite high. Perhaps this is the reason why the aura of my clan has summoned me. If that's the case, then open this Nirvana space. Since we're already here, there's no reason to go back. Let's take a look first. The demonic ape said, and he was very curious. I'll give it a try. Soon after, the Qing Wan made her decision. Her somewhat immature figure moved, and her feet gently touched the ground. Her body suddenly floated low in the air, and she waved her hand. Numerous complicated and mysterious hand seals were formed, and streaks of green flames accompanied by mysterious runes swept out from her hand, causing the temperature of the abyss to suddenly rise. Walala, streaks of green flame runes intertwined in the air, and it was very strange. In the end, it condensed into a Qing Wan shadow. Gee! Indistinctly, a loud and clear cry resounded. Cyan flames rose and spread out in the dusky sky. It was like a cyan sun, accompanied by the rising cyan flames. The phantom of a cyan Wan soared in the sky. Its gorgeous tail feathers were suffused with cyan runes, moving and moving. It spread its wings, agile and dignified, showing the aura of a supreme beast. Rumble! At the same time that the Azure Luan phantasm appeared, a dazzling crimson red light screen instantly appeared in the surrounding space. It shot down in an arc and enveloped a large area of space within it. It was like a vast light screen with crimson red flames lingering around it and talisman runes interweaving with each other in a blazing manner. This is the Nirvana space? Du Xiaofu instantly became alert and looked at the huge scarlet red light screen in front of him. His eyes revealed a grave expression, because he felt a familiar aura, and he also felt a terrifying pressure. What a powerful pressure! This terrifying pressure made Du Xiaofu not dare to be the slightest bit careless. Du Xiaofu felt an enormous pressure from the mysterious runic light barrier of the scarlet-red raging flames symbol puppet. It was as if there was an extremely powerful and frightening existence within. Even with his current cultivation strength, Du Xiaofu had a feeling that the aura was very powerful, and it carried a type of danger. As expected, it wasn't set up by a pure-blooded member of the Phoenix clan. In the sky, the Qing Wan Xiaoqing's gaze also became grave. At this moment, she suddenly felt a dangerous aura rising in her heart. Looks like it's really fate. Du Xiaofu stared closely at the scarlet-red light screen, and the corners of his mouth lifted into a smile that was not a smile, revealing a bit of coldness. I seem to feel that there's some trouble. The Qing Wan Xiaoqing's slightly immature face revealed a bitter smile. She already felt the danger. Be careful. Du Xiaofu waved his sleeve and made Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu retreat. He raised his head and looked at the scarlet-red light screen, and he also felt a terrifying aura permeating from within the light screen. Walala! Under Du Xiaofu's gaze, the runes within the scarlet-red light screen began to fluctuate. Following the waves of fluctuations, a scarlet-red flame crack slowly tore open. Crack, crack! Immediately, the scarlet-red energy light screen was like a broken mirror, shattering inch by inch. The instant the scarlet-red light screen shattered, everyone's gaze was immediately shocked. The scene before their eyes suddenly changed, and the surrounding space expanded. The valley disappeared, and what replaced it was a huge dark plain. The plain was lifeless and barren, but the silhouette of a colossal object appeared before them, and it stood there like a huge mountain. Everyone focused their gazes. That colossal creature was actually the skeleton of a gigantic demonic beast. Although it was clearly a skeleton, it seemed as though it was alive. Its entire body was suffused with a faint green radiance. Its wings were spread out as it lay on the ground, spanning thousands of feet. A faintly discernible blazing aura spread out from it, as though it could incinerate everything, including one's primordial spirit. Even with Du Xiaofu's current cultivation and primordial spirit strength, it caused the profound qi in his body to feel as though it was being blocked. A supreme beast's aura spread out from that beast's body, causing everyone to tremble in fear. What a terrifying pressure from the Phoenix clan! Du Xiaofu was shocked, and shock appeared in his eyes. Under the huge pressure, Du Xiaofu felt the supreme beast's pressure from the Phoenix clan. Other than the aura on little Xingxing's body, it was the first time Du Xiaofu had seen such a level of pressure, and it was far above the experts of the Phoenix clan that he had seen before. An expert of the Qing Wan clan. Du Xiaofu was shocked. The demonic beast had definitely reached a terrifying level when it was alive, and that level might have exceeded his imagination. Otherwise, just the remaining skeleton alone would not have been able to affect him at all. It's the ancestor of my Qing Wan clan. Looking at the enormous skeleton, shock abruptly surged into the Qing Wan's eyes. The aura that was connected by blood allowed her to be certain of the identity of the enormous monstrous beast skeleton in front of her eyes. The expression on her face was filled with shock. You're disturbing my nirvana, you're courting death. Suddenly, at the same time, a gloomy and sharp female shout soared into the sky with uncontrollable anger, and resounded through the sky. Everyone looked towards the direction of the voice, and above the huge Qing Wan's corpse, a cluster of dazzling crimson-red flames directly spread out. Brat, I'll fight you to the death today. Boom! Suddenly, an extremely cold voice roared out from the ruins on the ground, and a terrifying energy fluctuation spread out from the ruins. Boom! Boom! In an instant, the sky trembled for no reason, and then a monstrous crimson-red flame swept out from the front like a storm. A terrifying aura spread out, and with a monstrous blazing aura, it charged into the sky. Coo! Coo! There was a cry like the cry of a phoenix, and a huge demonic beast's body flapped its wings and rose, appearing in the sky like a phoenix. When this enormous demonic beast spread its wings, it was like a cloud that hung down from the sky. Rays of light covered the sky, and crimson-red symbols interweaved with each other, causing the surroundings to seem like an ocean of flames. An indescribable heat and pressure pressed down, This demonic beast was quite similar to the Phoenix clan, but it lacked the magnificence and nobility of the true Phoenix clan. The Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan. Looking at the huge demonic beast's body that suddenly appeared, this was definitely not an accident, but a true Distant Sky Flame Phoenix. It caused Du Xiaofu's eyes to tremble, but he wasn't too surprised because he had long sensed the aura of the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan. However, at this moment, Du Xiaofu was secretly shocked because the aura of this Distant Sky Flame Phoenix was much stronger than that of Feng Ai. Peak of the intermediate stage of the Saint Beast realm. Du Xiaofu's eyes trembled. Such a terrifying aura fluctuation came from a Distant Sky Flame Phoenix at the peak of the intermediate stage of the Saint Beast realm. There seems to be quite a bit of difference. Staring intently at the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix's body, Du Xiaofu saw many different things. At this moment, there was an additional layer of azure light on the body of the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix. It was like a divine radiance that was filled with azure flames, and the pressure on its body was definitely not something that Feng Jin could compare to. It was as if it was truly close to the Phoenix clan. Transformation. This Distant Sky Flame Phoenix is transforming into an azure luan. Du Xiaofu's eyes trembled as he seemed to have thought of some possibilities. There were the corpses of experts from the Azure Luan clan here, and there were also experts from the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan here. It was obvious that the Nirvana space was set up by the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan, and its body seemed to be transforming towards a higher level. The greatest possibility was that the experts of the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan discovered this place and found the corpses left behind by the Azure Luan clan's experts. They obtained endless benefits, so they simply set up a Nirvana space here and wanted to undergo a Nirvana transformation, but they were discovered by the Azure Luan. The Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan is very strong. Even with his cultivation level and strength, he could only tremble under this aura. It was difficult for him to resist. The gigantic Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan spread its wings and soared into the sky. Its aura had reached its peak, and its eyes were red with a hint of cyan. However, its eyes were filled with coldness and anger. Only the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan knew that it had paid a great price to reach this step. When it had discovered this place, because it wasn't a pure-blooded phoenix and it didn't have the bloodline of the Cyan Luan clan, in order to obtain the inheritance of the ancient ancestor of the Cyan Luan clan, the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan had been severely injured and almost died. It could only take it one step at a time to obtain the inheritance of the ancient ancestor of the Cyan Luan clan. The Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan probably thought that it had already died in the burial sky death ground. However, it had gone through a lot of hardships to reach the peak of the Middle Holy Beast realm. It was about to undergo a Nirvana transformation and break through to the Late Holy Beast realm. However, it hadn't thought that these people would disturb it and it would be affected greatly. The Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan was worried. It stared at the figures in front of it, especially the Cyan Luan bloodline. Once the Cyan Luan bloodline fought with it for the inheritance, it wouldn't be able to win no matter how hard it tried to suppress its strength. The inheritance of the ancient ancestor of the Cyan Luan clan would naturally be left to its clan members. Therefore, it had to kill these people no matter what. All of you die. The Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan roared ferociously. Its eyes emitted a fierce red light as if two volcanoes were erupting. Its aura was terrifying. It spread its wings and covered the sky. It already had some of the supreme beast aura of the Cyan Luan clan. Its first target wasn't Du Xiaofu, but Cyan Luan Shaoqing. Rumble. Wherever the gigantic body of the heavenly flame phoenix passed by, a terrifying crushing force would shatter the void, bringing along surging lava as it swept down. A monstrous aura swept out crazily, enough to burn and destroy everything. It was not something that the current Qing Luan and Little Qing could contend against. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared. Starting from the void around him, a bright golden talisman rune surged out and formed a hand seal. The skyquake wings swept out. A wing soared into the sky. A large area of golden lightning flashed like a sea of lightning. The lightning was like a golden python that filled the sky. Bright golden talisman runes spread out. These golden talisman runes carried the domineering will of the Great Golden-Winged Rock Clan. They gathered and formed a huge Great Golden-Winged Rock Clan shadow. Gee! The Great Golden-Winged Rock Clan's shadow screeched. A domineering power descended. It seemed to have passed through the ancient times and finally permeated into the space. It distorted the space and blocked the distant Sky Flame Phoenix Clan's body. The Great Golden-Winged Rock that disappeared. A sharp cry of shock came from the distant Sky Flame Phoenix Clan's mouth. Its fierce eyes were like huge lanterns as it stared at Du Xiaofu. Its wings were flapping. There were blazing talisman runes fluctuating. The entire sky shook at this moment. Walala! Immediately, in this space, under its wings, the space collapsed inch by inch. A pitch-black crack appeared in the void. The blazing aura fluctuated, causing the primordial spirit and beast souls to wither. This distant Sky Flame Phoenix wants to forcefully obtain the inheritance. It wants to undergo a nirvana transformation. It seems to be about to succeed. Qing Wan Shaoqing came behind Du Xiaofu and saw some clues. No wonder she felt a dangerous and complicated aura just now. Now she understood everything. This distant Sky Flame Phoenix wanted to forcefully obtain the inheritance of the ancestors of the Qing Wan clan. It seemed to have almost succeeded. The inheritance of your clan's ancestors? Can you obtain it? Du Xiaofu asked Qing Wan Shaoqing. The ancestors of the Qing Wan clan were definitely unimaginably strong when they were alive. If such an inheritance landed in the hands of Qing Wan Shaoqing, it would be shocking. It would be enough to obtain unimaginable benefits. Of course I can. My clan's ancestors are calling me for the inheritance. However, this distant Sky Flame Phoenix doesn't seem to be easy to deal with. Qing Wan Shaoqing looked at the terrifying distant Sky Flame Phoenix. She knew that this distant Sky Flame Phoenix was definitely not easy to deal with. If she didn't deal with it, she wouldn't be able to obtain the inheritance left behind by the ancestors of the Qing Wan clan. Leave it to me. You guys just guard at the side first. Du Xiaofu looked at the huge distant Sky Flame Phoenix. Anyway, he didn't have any good impression of the distant Sky Flame Phoenix. This inheritance had unimaginable benefits for Qing Wan Shaoqing. He couldn't let it go. Although this distant Sky Flame Phoenix was powerful and made Du Xiaofu somewhat afraid. However, Du Xiaofu thought that it wasn't that he couldn't fight against it. He had fought with Lei Yang before. At this moment, if he used his full strength, with his current cultivation, he might not be unable to deal with this distant Sky Flame Phoenix. Big brother Xiaofu, be careful. If there's really no other way, let's run first. This fellow has been disturbed at an important juncture of its nirvana transformation. It will definitely be greatly affected. It won't be able to obtain the inheritance in a short period of time. The Qing Wan, little Qing, said to Du Xiaofu. Although she was afraid of the remote flame phoenix, she also secretly smiled maliciously. The remote flame phoenix would definitely be greatly affected by her interruption at the critical moment of its nirvana transformation. No matter who you are, all of you will die today. At the same time, the huge distant Sky Flame Phoenix had already pounced towards Du Xiaofu once again. Its huge body directly smashed towards him in the most powerful manner. This was already the most terrifying attack. There was also the torrential heat and pressure that could destroy everything. Within its pair of fierce eyes, a fierce glint flickered. Rumble! Space trembled as raging flames spread. The enormous body of the distant Sky Flame Phoenix carried with it a terrifying energy that could destroy the world as it smashed down towards Du Xiaofu. Boom! Du Xiaofu stood in the air. His gaze darkened as a cold glint flashed past his eyes. The Azure Spirit armor and great pink golden wings were directly deployed. Golden light shone brightly. The resplendent golden light around his body formed feather-like substance fragments, forming a divine and magnificent golden armor that covered his entire body. At the same time, Du Xiaofu's great golden wings unfolded behind his back. Its overbearing aura overflowed the heavens, as if it wanted to soar into the sky and cross the heavens. The Azure Spirit armor and great golden wings, The two of them were one with nature. The cry of the prng pierced through the clouds and cracked rocks. An incomparably overbearing aura swept through the air. Swish. Gee! The huge body of the former pressed down. At the same time that Du Xiaofu condensed the azure spirit armor and activated the great prng golden wings, profound energy that hid the sky and covered the earth surged out from within his body. As his hand seals formed, waves of rolling purple flames rose, as if it wanted to burn the world. It transformed into a huge purple flame demonic phoenix that needed to appear. It was like a purple sun that blotted out the sky and covered the earth, appearing in an incomparably terrifying manner. Gee! The phantom of the purple flame demonic phoenix spread its wings, and monstrous energy swept out. Its eyes, which were like purple suns, looked down on the ground, shaking half of the void. Under the scorching heat, huge cracks appeared on the ground. Kaka! Suddenly, a blazing aura appeared. Billowing purple flames covered the sky and engulfed the sky. It was as if a purple sun had erupted. It could destroy everything. It carried with it a terrifying pressure of heaven and earth. It blocked the flame phoenix in the sky, causing shock to appear in its fierce eyes. The beast energy of the purple flame demonic phoenix clan. Kid, you must have a treasure of the purple flame demonic phoenix clan on you. Looks like you have a big harvest today. After the shock in the Yao Tian flame demonic phoenix's fierce eyes, it then turned into a blazing gaze. To it, the supreme beast energy of the Phoenix clan was a great opportunity. The aura of the golden-winged great prng bird on the mysterious kid was also of great benefit to it. This is a gift delivered to my doorstep. The Yao Tian flame demonic phoenix let out a sharp cry. Its eyes surged with scarlet light, as if two volcanoes were erupting. It spread its wings and covered the sky, once again pouncing towards Du Xiaofu, who seemed incomparably small at this moment. The terrifying crushing force shattered the void, bringing a long rolling lava as it swept down. The monstrous aura swept out crazily, enough to destroy everything. Chapter 2364. I'm afraid it's not enough. Du Xiaofu took a step forward, the rock wings on his back flapping. Amidst the golden light, spatial ripples spread out. With a shake of his arms, hand seals formed in his hands, finally condensing into a brightly colored seal. Waves of strange and violent energy ripples abruptly rippled outwards, as if they had materialized. Awoo! Awoo! When this palm seal formed, there were the roars of dragons, tigers, sparrows, and turtles. Du Xiaofu directly slapped out with his palm. This was the primordial emperor's seal. It expanded with the wind, accompanied by a world-destroying might that suddenly swept out. Everything was as fast as lightning. The palm seal and the huge body of the remote sky flame phoenix collided head-on. Waves of muffled thunderous booms spread out, shaking the abyss. Rumble! Resplendent runes shot out, and the firmament rumbled. Terrifying energy ripples swept out like a vast ocean wave. Phantoms of the azure dragon, white tiger, phoenix, black tortoise, and black tortoise appeared. Accompanied by the roars of dragons, tigers, sparrows, and turtles, there was also a blazing aura erupting with a terrifying aura within the dazzling light. This kind of collision caused the retreating Zhong Yuan's eyes to be filled with horror. A large expanse of the void was collapsing, and a huge black hole appeared in the void. The phantoms of the azure dragon, white tiger, and the rest of the four beasts also disappeared within the space. Thud-thud. As the energy surged, Du Xiaofu's figure instantly retreated several steps as the runes shattered. His figure staggered, and only after flapping his wings did he stabilize his body. A look of surprise appeared in his eyes. This remote sky flame phoenix was even stronger than he had imagined. It clearly carried the aura of the blue Luan race on its body, and was not something an ordinary remote sky flame phoenix could compare to. It looked like it was really at the critical juncture of its nirvanic transformation. If it had not been discovered by the blue Luan this time, perhaps it really would have had a chance of succeeding. Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, and the others retreated far away, their hearts on tenterhooks. They knew that with their strength, they wouldn't be of much help at this moment. However, Ouyang Shuang's large and beautiful eyes looked at the figure in front of her, who was clad in a divine armor and looked like a real rock in human form. She had absolute confidence that the young man in Lanling City back then had completely transformed. He had been honed step by step, and was now an expert who could move unhindered in the 3 continents and Kyushu. All of this had happened in a short period of time. Du Xiaofu's primordial yellow emperor's seal had obstructed the body of the flaming phoenix in the sky. Some of its feathers had dimmed, but the look in its huge and sharp eyes was much more gloomy. Its cry pierced through the clouds and cracked rocks. Its huge body once again flapped its wings and pounced towards Du Xiaofu. With a flap of its wings, the surrounding space was stirred up and the clouds surged. Raging flames burned the void. At least it hasn't completed its nirvana transformation. It still hasn't reached the late stage of the Saint Beast realm. Du Xiaofu's eyes flickered with golden light. He was just testing the strength of the flaming phoenix just now. It had such a terrifying power at the late stage of the Saint Beast realm. It had indeed surpassed many of its peers. Moreover, as a flaming phoenix, it was very powerful. It was undeniable that Du Xiaofu knew that if this flaming phoenix really completed its nirvana transformation, or stepped into the late stage of the Saint Beast realm, it would be much more difficult to deal with. It might not even be something that he could deal with his current strength. Du Xiaofu did not intend to be polite when he saw the distant sky flame phoenix coming towards him again. This was not to verify his identity, so Du Xiaofu did not intend to be polite to the distant sky flame phoenix clan. He raised his head slightly, and ancient runes began to ripple out from the void around him. Above the void of this deep plain, the outline of an 8 trigrams void pattern quietly appeared. The 8 trigrams void diagram appeared. Qian, Koan, Jin, Sun, Ken, Li, Zhen, Dy. The 8 directions were connected to each other, forming a dazzling divine ring that spread out in all directions. Asterisk boom. Asterisk suddenly, the entire firmament quietly trembled. In an instant, within the 8 trigrams void diagram, tens of thousands of beasts roared. Lightning descended. Golden-winged great peng flapped its wings. Mountains and lakes formed. Wind, rain, thunder, and lightning alternated. The sun, moon, and stars changed. The 8 trigrams void diagram connected heaven and earth, containing all things. It was like a small world had fallen, causing the flaming phoenix's figure to be instantly suppressed. What is this? The distant sky flame phoenix's sinister and cold eyes suddenly trembled. At this moment, this terrifying and strange aura caused its profound energy to collapse and disintegrate. Everything was suppressed, and an invisible aura that caused it to tremble surged out from the depths of its beast soul. Let's end this quickly. Kill! Du Xiaofu stared at the flame phoenix in the sky with undisguised killing intent. With a wave of his hand, a purple-gold broadsword appeared in his hand with the sound of wind and thunder. It had a natural arc and looked like a tiger's bone and dragon's bone. Asterisk buzz buzz. Asterisk when this broadsword appeared, a dazzling light erupted like a suppressed volcano. Dazzling talisman patterns soared into the sky. This was clearly the sound of wind and thunder, but it was like the roar of a god or devil. It made people's souls tremble for no reason. Asterisk rumble. Asterisk asterisk suddenly, for some unknown reason, when this broadsword appeared, this ancient abyss plain trembled violently. The earth shook and the mountains shook. The earth was collapsing. The broadsword around was twisting as if destruction was coming. This was the purple-gold heavenly tower. At this moment, it had completely swallowed the soul of the immemorial sacred artifact. Its power skyrocketed again. As the purple-gold light bloomed, it was peerless in the sky. It was as if it wanted to spread its wings and soar into the sky. Is this a divine weapon? The flaming phoenix trembled. Such a weapon seemed to have surpassed the boundary of a sacred artifact. It was a divine weapon. Looking at the purple-gold heavenly tower that appeared in an instant, the flaming phoenix's pupils constricted. It felt that the terrifying broadsword was like a peerless god or devil that had awakened and was looking down on the world. It was enough to destroy everything. It secretly felt uneasy in its beast soul. That uneasiness intensified in an instant, crazily growing in its heart like weeds. Roar of the sacred sword. Asterisk roar. Asterisk at the same time, on the 8 trigrams diagram in the sky, Du Xiaofu's Jingwen was like a god in the sky. It was as if a real rock in human form had descended to the world. The purple-gold heavenly tower in his hand condensed a sword technique, and a sword light swept out. Asterisk swish swish. Asterisk waves of complex and mysterious sword light finally gathered together and turned into a simple slash. In an instant, it spread out with the speed of lightning. Asterisk coup. Asterisk asterisk it was impossible to dodge. The flaming phoenix in the sky roared and erupted with all its strength. Raging flames filled the sky, accompanied by green flames gushing out. There was the pressure of the Phoenix clan. It was like an erupting volcano that could burn the stars. It was extremely shocking. Asterisk awoo. Asterisk asterisk roar. Asterisk the sword light exploded. The power of the purple-gold heavenly tower was pushed to the extreme by Du Xiaofu at this moment. Layers of purple-gold light bloomed, and the phantoms of the azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise roared out. The aura was domineering and terrifying. The brilliance of the sword light poured down on the world. Under the brilliance, there was a terrifying and domineering destructive energy hidden. Asterisk swish swish. Asterisk wherever the sword light passed, the monstrous flames were silently annihilated. However, it was this kind of silence that was even more terrifying. Then, under the trembling gaze of the flying ape, the sword light brought along a long spatial crack, opened a sea of fire, and slashed at the flaming phoenix in the sky. The flaming phoenix in the sky was erupting with all its strength. Its body was covered with light, and it was dodging the sword light. However, at this moment, it was not very effective in the 8 trigrams diagram. Asterisk G. Asterisk the sword light fell on the left wing of the flaming phoenix's huge body. Suddenly, the feathers fluttered, and blood dripped. There was a sharp sound of pain and anger, and it was ear-piercing and chilling. Bastard! The flaming phoenix was enraged. It was in the midst of its nirvana transformation, and it was about to become the #1 person in the history of the flaming phoenix race. If it could complete its nirvana transformation and become a true member of the phoenix race, it would be able to move unhindered in this world. However, it never imagined that at the critical moment when it was about to succeed, it would be disturbed by this group of youngsters. This flaming phoenix had already been here for 10,000 years, so how could it know that the flaming phoenix had offended Du Xiaofu? If not for the fact that it was a member of the flaming phoenix race, Du Xiaofu might have been embarrassed to disturb others and even wanted to kill them. However, this was a flaming phoenix, and it was also a powerhouse. Leaving it alive would cause endless trouble. Naturally, he could not let it go. Asterisk rumble. Asterisk the flaming phoenix felt that something was wrong. This human's aura was too complex and too powerful. It wanted to leave. Its wings flapped rapidly, and strange talisman runes erupted. Faintly, strange spatial fluctuations appeared around its body, shattering many spatial ripples and forming a pitch-black void. It was as if it was about to break free from the shackles of the 8 trigrams diagram. Du Xiaofu held his sword in the air, and a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. He could feel a strange spatial fluctuation from the flaming phoenix. Ever since he had made some progress in his comprehension of the sky slashing 3 swords, he could feel it more and more now. Could this be the profound meaning of space? Du Xiaofu narrowed his eyes. The powerhouses of the phoenix race were born with innate spatial techniques. This flaming phoenix had comprehended the inheritance of an ancient powerhouse of the azure phoenix race, and was undergoing a nirvana transformation. It had also obtained this profound meaning of space. Looking at the flaming phoenix that seemed to be about to break free, Du Xiaofu did not hesitate at all. He raised the purple-gold heavenly tower in his hand again. Sumeru illusion. Dominating sword Dao. Boom! The purple-gold heavenly tower slashed down. At this moment, a strange light flashed in Du Xiaofu's eyes. At the same time, he activated his primordial spirit to attack. Accompanied by the golden wings of the preng behind him, it was as if a real preng was soaring in the sky. Golden light flashed in his eyes, and his killing intent soared to the heavens. Asterisk boom. Asterisk asterisk boom. Asterisk. There was nothing fancy about this attack, but it possessed an extremely domineering aura. It suddenly radiated from the sword, causing the space around the 8 trigrams diagram to tremble violently. Wherever the sword light passed, the space collapsed, revealing traces of a vacuum. The flaming phoenix's ferocious eyes trembled violently when this attack arrived. It was stunned for a moment, and fear that came from the depths of its beast soul surged from the bottom of its heart. Asterisk slash. Asterisk. Blood dripped from the flaming phoenix's right wing once more. Its feathers were shattered, and blood rained down. Kid, you're courting death. The flaming phoenix was extremely furious. It had been in closed-door cultivation for almost 10,000 years, and it had improved tremendously. It had originally thought that once it succeeded, it would shock the world and resound throughout the Beast Alliance. It would also be able to lead the Flaming Phoenix race to suppress the Baifeng race and become the greatest race in the Beast Alliance. It had never thought that it would be trampled on by a young human before it could even leave. Asterisk screech. Asterisk. From within the distant sky flame phoenix's body, there was blood boiling. In the end, it turned into a dazzling green flame. From between its eyebrows, there was a crystal-clear green flame that rushed out and turned into a 1,000-foot-long illusory green luan. However, it seemed to be alive. It even carried with it the might of a true green luan and the majestic energy of the beast soul. Its might was much more powerful than that of its huge body. There was a strange spatial fluctuation that appeared, as if it was about to open up the 8 trigrams in the void. When the 1,000-foot-long green luan shadow appeared, Du Xiaofu was secretly shocked. It seemed like the 8 trigrams diagram in the void had also collapsed. Brother Xiaofu, this is the method of my Blue Phoenix clan. This remote sky flame phoenix is undergoing a nirvana transformation from the inside out. It should have obtained the true phoenix blood of my Blue Phoenix clan. The Blue Phoenix Little Qing's expression also changed at this moment. She was very shocked as she reminded Du Xiaofu. A transformation from the inside out. How wondrous! Du Xiaofu was surprised as well. The flaming phoenix was actually able to transform into a true phoenix. It was very wondrous. Walala! The azure green luan shadow spread its wings and flew through the 8 trigrams diagram in the void. Green flames surged as it lunged towards Du Xiaofu with the tremendous pressure of the beast soul. This kind of beast soul contained the true might of the azure phoenix, silently suppressing and burning everything. You dare to use the beast soul? That's exactly what I'm looking for. However, Du Xiaofu was not worried at all. Instead, he smiled slightly. If he could devour a flaming phoenix beast soul at the peak of Mid-Saint Beast and the pressure of the Green Luan race, his soul would become much stronger. He could not let it go to waste. Boom! In an instant, a silver-gold lightning arc shot out from between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows. The silver-net soul-devouring thunder that had fused with the soul of his soul could not hold back any longer. The beast soul of the flaming phoenix was enough to make people of the same level fearful. However, for Du Xiaofu, the silver-net soul-devouring thunder in his soul was a great supplement. Whether it was the soul of the soul of the soul of the soul or the power of lightning, Du Xiaofu could refine them for his own use. This kind of refining was much faster than cultivating on his own. Seeing the flaming phoenix beast soul lunging towards him, the silver-gold lightning between Du Xiaofu's eyebrows exploded in front of him. Boom! Boom! At this moment, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled in the void, turning into a variety of lightning bolts that covered the sky. They contained the pressure of the earth-shattering thunder, the soul-destroying thunder, the moon-sky thunder, the 3,000 quaking thunder, and so on. The pressure of the spiritual thunder flooded the void. The lightning arc was bright and boundless, and the lightning runes were densely packed, illuminating the void. Amidst the resplendent destructive lightning that filled the sky, a gigantic redbone horse-ape rushed out. In that instant, it released a berserk destructive pressure. Rumble, Silver-gold lightning swept out, covering the void. The red-bone horse monkey roared, and its eyes seemed to contain two golden suns. Silver-gold lightning arcs spread out in all directions. This was Du Xiaofu's red-bone horse monkey primordial spirit, which already contains 6 types of spiritual thunder. It could be said that Du Xiaofu's physical body was monstrous to the point of being monstrous, but the monstrous degree of his primordial spirit was absolutely not inferior to it. Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit had not only fused with the spiritual thunder, it had also fused with the soul of the soul of the soul of the soul of the soul. Instantly, the huge red-bone horse monkey's body exploded with golden light. Its spiritual eyes looked down, and its pressure was like the beginning of the world. It swept out in all directions, and it was about to cause the void to explode. Facing the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul, Du Xiaofu's red-bone horse monkey primordial spirit pounced forward. A monstrous lightning aura spread out from his body, and a lightning storm swept out, filling the heavens in an instant. Monstrous lightning surged violently. Instantly, the wind and clouds surged in the entire space. Lightning flashed and thunder rumbled, and the void trembled. At this moment, the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul that was pouncing towards Du Xiaofu seemed to have felt the red-bone horse monkey's complicated aura. Its eyes could not help but be stunned for a moment, and then it began to feel uneasy and fearful. Boom! The lightning exploded, and the red-bone horse monkey primordial spirit gave off a vast pressure that was far more powerful than the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul. Its aura surged, and an undisguised intent to devour surged. As the silver-net soul-devouring lightning exploded, it directly swept towards the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul. The two vast auras immediately collided, and they came to a standstill in the air. The distant sky flame phoenix beast soul's aura was clearly extremely shocking, but Du Xiaofu's red-bone horse monkey primordial spirit was clearly much more powerful. Du Xiaofu's primordial spirit had already devoured many primordial spirit beast souls with the silver-net soul-devouring lightning. Right now, he was even more familiar with the process. He used the power of his primordial spirit and the 8 trigrams diagram to suppress the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul with all his might. Immediately, the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul was completely suppressed, and the surrounding space seemed to freeze. Oh no! The distant sky flame phoenix beast soul's eyes were filled with shock and fear. It immediately began to struggle, but it was unable to break free. The red-bone horse monkey primordial spirit's eyes burned with passion. It licked its lips and took the opportunity to attack. Instantly, with its body as the center, the monstrous silver-net soul-devouring lightning spread out like a tornado. Ancient lightning talisman runes shuttled back and forth like silver lightning, accompanied by a suction force that swept out like a tornado. Immediately, it landed on the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul. Boom! Under such a huge suction force, the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul's body immediately trembled and violently resisted. The green flames also dimmed and were suppressed. The surrounding space was torn apart by the flap of its wings, and the entire space seemed to tremble. However, under the suppression of the red-bone horse monkey primordial spirit and the 8 trigrams diagram, it was unable to break free. Oh no! The distant sky flame phoenix beast soul was shocked. It originally thought that its nirvana beast soul, which had undergone the most transformations, would be able to severely injure the human in front of it and suppress this young human. However, it did not expect such an outcome. This fellow was actually trying to devour its beast soul. This was equivalent to destroying its body and soul. Using all its strength, the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul was burning its blood essence and vitality. It was making a final burst before its death, disregarding the consequences. It was very clear that if its beast soul could not break free, it would be dead for sure. This distant sky flame phoenix beast soul was going all out, and its might was absolutely terrifying. It was probably comparable to an ordinary late Saint Beast Realm expert. Flames surged and covered the sky, boiling within the 8 trigrams diagram, wanting to overturn everything. Du Xiaofu raised his head, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. He formed a hand seal, and golden-purple lightning surged out from his body, covering the azure spirit armor. His body also soared into the sky within the 8 trigrams diagram. In an instant, purple lightning and golden light rose up like the sun, intertwining with each other. In the next instant, a huge purple-gold thunder rock shadow that covered half of the sky rushed out from Du Xiaofu's body and enveloped Du Xiaofu's body. The two seemed to have merged into one, and it was about to soar into the sky. Gee! The purple-gold thunder rock screeched, and its eyes shot out purple-gold lightning. It was like 2 suns shining in the sky, overlooking the world. Its ferocious aura spread out, causing the entire space to tremble. This was the fusion of Du Xiaofu's golden-winged rock clan's beast energy and the thunder martial vein. Its aura was tyrannical and murderous. Rumble! The distant sky flame phoenix beast soul was burning its blood essence and vitality. The flames were monstrous, and it shook the heavens and the earth. Above the void, there were pitch-black spatial cracks spreading out. It was blazing with boundless heat, and it enveloped Du Xiaofu. Gee! Gee! The purple-gold thunder rock flapped its wings, and a mighty and domineering aura swept out. Its body was covered with dense purple-gold lightning arcs, and it converged into a huge purple-gold lightning bolt. The domineering and destructive energy swept out like a raging tide, destroying the space. The rock struck the 9 heavens, and it broke through the firmament. Wherever the purple-gold thunder rock passed, everything was destroyed. Is this kid a human or a rock? The distant sky flame phoenix beast soul's ferocious eyes were surging. This aura was even more powerful than a true rock, and it made it tremble. Bang, 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 bang. Inside the void 8 trigrams diagram, the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul spread its wings in Kuala Lumpur. The purple lightning suppressed the void, and the strange phenomenon continued. The heavens and the earth rumbled, and the flames around the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul continued to explode. It was like a volcano erupting, and that scene was extremely shocking. Buzz. Within the purple-gold thunder rock's shadow, Du Xiaofu's figure appeared. The purple-gold heavenly tower in his hand emitted the sound of wind and thunder. On his resolute face, the purple-gold eyes were solemn. The sword art was condensed, and waves of heaven and earth energy gathered. Quietly, layers of strange fluctuations appeared in the space. Above the purple-gold heavenly tower, a bright light shone. The surrounding layers of strange spatial fluctuations were invisibly connected with it, and there were talisman runes interweaving with each other. Sky splitting 3 swords, the first sword splitting 10,000 miles. In an instant, Du Xiaofu swung his sword down. The rock's golden wings swooped down, and the true rock swayed. The sword light was like lightning, and it fell from the void. Swish! The sword light swept out, and there were mysterious talisman runes fluctuating. The space seemed to be rippling, and a silent dark crack appeared in the void, spreading in front of the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul in an instant. At this moment, for some reason, the distant sky flame phoenix beast soul's sharp eyes were dull, as if it had seen the most incredible thing. At this moment, only it knew that under the sword light, there was an invisible force that had disturbed the void. This kind of spatial power was not the spatial power that an ordinary Saint Realm cultivator could control, nor was it the spatial power that was affected by external forces. It was the true essence of space, the profound of space. It was similar to the inheritance of the immemorial Cyan Phoenix beast soul that it had comprehended for 10,000 years. However, this human being's comprehension of space was far beyond its own. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.